37B.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They don't announce its trajectory, its orbit. Within 48 hours, amateur trackers on the ground already have its orbit pinpointed. So
We have some really good ISR companies as well that are monitoring both our satellites and any that from our allies and non-allies too. So yeah, we've got plenty of people monitoring what's in low Earth orbit and
And
beyond.
if amateur satellite, amateur people can track them, from the ground with their own telescopes and whatnot. Imagine, the Space Force does all of the official tracking from the government, right? And yeah, that's one of those things that it's like, it's really hard to not be able to track one of these when even the most secret things are launched.
Right.
That's also how they know if they're launching,
Houston integrity, all 4 seats are leak check complete.
beautiful.
Houston copies. Congratulations. And while you were busy, BFS outputs were enabled.
We saw them go enabled on board.
So all 4 crew members now fully suited up, tested to make sure that the suits in the event of an emergency will act as their own mini spacecraft and seal up and inflate. And they checked that, and all of them are working. The handshake there, with under an hour to go until entry interface, meaning that's when the official re-entry will start and they hit the atmosphere. Let me continue powering through all the support, which we greatly appreciate here. Kathy wondering, how do they harden all the cameras against radiation? That's probably why they're using Hero 4s for this rather than, I think they're up to what, the Hero 13? So
they, in fact, carry old cameras that they have already flown on the ISS. But I believe, who was it, Victor Glover, that he was saying that he actually wanted to fly, like he requested NASA to fly a much modern, not talking about the GoPros and everything, like the more professional cameras that they used for some of the pictures that we saw of the moon and whatnot. Like they actually flew a much more modern camera from like only a few years ago, because most of the cameras, again, they're like 10, 15 years old, the ones that they use, very old models that they have already used on the station. Because he was like, we want to use the better cameras when we land on the moon, and so we really need to at least bring up the one of the newer cameras to see how it performs, in the environment of space with all of the radiation and whatnot. It's not like radiation just instantly kills all of your technology, right? It's just that it affects it over time as more radiation hits the electronics. But if it's only for 10 days, like this one in particular, it's not a huge deal.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's all been tried and tested. They've got somewhere in the region of 30 different types of cameras, or 30 cameras in total, should I say, on board and on the outside of the spacecraft for redundancy for a lot of reasons. Just in case. You never know what these things are going to do in that kind of environment.
We got one of the photographers, DYs.
Sorry about that. I thought we weren't live.
That info.
Yeah,
you also. I was just about to jump in with that. Yes, they have the D5, which is an older camera. That's the one that's about 10-ish, 12-ish years old. And then there's also the Z9, which is a mirrorless camera that they used as well. And it's kind of a great way to also test out the difference of, hey, how does the mirrorless compare to a DSLR?
Yep.
So yeah, and again, they've been recording. We've been seeing most of the stuff coming back in 720 or 1080. They are set to also be recording a lot in 4K, but given the amount of bandwidth that it takes, and yes, they've been using the new sort of laser link to download it. It's an optical way of sending back these larger files. It's still, most of it is being stored on the SD cards in its original 4K, and that is what we will hopefully see after the mission.
That's have to say, one of my favorite videos I've seen so far from the crew was when they did the ejection of one of the SD cards and it flew out far faster.
Oh yeah, the battery.
It was great to watch the moment of, oh no, there it goes.
That would have been.
See,
that's going to make a highlight
now.
reel.
It looks like the crew turning down the cabin lights for a bit and kind of figuring out
he's
exactly.
turning the knobs. You can see the lights.
I have to say, I've been really fascinated by how many
they're doing
different,
suspicious things by turning the camera on.
You don't expect it. Personally, I've been wanting to flip them all and start
America's
around with them.
secret nuclear space station. They had to pass, so they had to.
Yep, they're finding out their preferred lighting.
Just getting ahead of.
We need an Orion flight simulator.
Debunking more dingleheads.
let me continue to thank people. There's a lot of people that I want to thank. Not a lot of time to do it because we are coming up about 53 minutes and 40 seconds away.
Well,
from
how
the
long is
start
it going
of
to
the
take you to
interface
thank your
here.
people?
Jeff saying, not jinxing, but curious if an
53
incoming
minutes?
craft has ever been hit during re-entry.
What is this,
Not by
Academy
satellites.
Awards?
There's always little pieces of debris and space junk that, anything attached to the ISS will even come back with a couple dings on its windows. That's expected.
They test
Benefit
for
of
those sorts of
re-entry.
things as well. There's a, White Sands test facility tests these things with tiny, tiny grains of sand type size molecules against the metal. So they have been well and truly tested and put through the rigorous different things that they need to do to make sure that this mission is as safe as possible. So yeah, they're well prepared for this.
Well, look at
Benefit
that
of
patch
re-entry
wall
is also that
behind her.
it's re-entry, so there's not a lot of things there, because if they were there, well, they will not be there for long.
Yeah, they would also be burning up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sorry about that.
Andy's saying there are launch windows and exclusions in said windows to avoid everything in Leo when launching. How do they avoid Leo objects during
Let me see
re-entry?
if I can find.
We talked a little bit about that earlier, but I mean, they have a track of every single object that is within an observable size in space, Alex.
Yeah, in fact, the concern is actually not the things that we can
We've
see,
got
right? Like
Nick
the thousands of
Starro's
satellites and
slightly
things like
buzzed
that.
show.
The only concern with
That's
those will
always
be
entertaining.
those that cannot move, right? That you sort of have to go around them instead of them moving themselves, right? There are unfortunately a few satellites that are big and are unfortunately offline, right? They're not able to move, so those are a concern. But the highest concern is actually the things that are too small to track. Things that are like a bolt size of thing, right? Are we adding more clocks here?
Just when you thought there couldn't be more clocks, are we gonna
Yeah.
add one as well for ESM Jettison too? While we're at it?
We should have
We
put up
should.
the timeline instead. But anyways, so yeah, look, the bigger pieces, the bigger satellites and debris that are big enough to track, those are tracked and they know where to navigate so that they can not hit. There's a lot being made out of, of like, there's thousands of these up there in space. As I said before, there's like 14,000 planes right now around the Earth. You don't see them colliding that often, as you can imagine, and you also don't see a lot of the space stuff when it re-enters colliding with planes or things like that, right? And so the same deal here, where it's like you have thousands of things, but they are miles apart from each other, right? And so as long as you know where they are, you should be able to get around them, basically.
Yeah, thankfully, space is very large, and there are companies out there that are tracking up to about a million different pieces of debris up there, including all the large pieces of satellites as well. And they are keeping an eye on things and making sure that data is shared. A lot of it is open source, which is really great. It's not really a concern for a lot of people. There's lots of very, very smart people that have been involved in this entire mission. They know exactly where all the stuff is, and they know exactly how to avoid it, which is the good news. But I'm glad people are starting to be concerned about it. They should be.
Yes.
Of course, we added the clocks, and now people are asking what's AOS and LOS.
Loss of signal
Yeah.
and acquisition, I'm
There you
assuming.
go.
Yep. Loss of signal and acquisition of signal. There is a 6-minute communication blackout where, because of all the plasma around the vehicle, they won't be able to get radio signals in and out. So as a result, they will be on their own for that point, and we will not be hearing anything.
Isn't that
Look
gorgeous?
at that.
That's always
You don't
scary.
Gorgeous there.
I remember
As we
that
now
in
sit
real
back,
time
it's
for
away.
Apollo 13 when they were
Again, this is
taking
an
an
animation of where the spacecraft
extraordinary
is in
amount
relation
of
to the
time
Earth at
to
the
come
moment.
through.
Chromatic gifting a red team membership. Dorian, great answers and great coverage as always. Thank you. It's going to be a late night here in the UK, but well worth it. Wherever you are in the world, I think it's going to be worth it for this. Argo, my first memory is the first moon landing. I was 2 and was playing around in front of the telly. My mom kept saying, look at the telly. Those people are on the moon. Well, now these people are coming back from around the moon. Tom Lewis, what will the pilot be doing during re-entry? The crews will be monitoring all of the numbers and ready to take over if needed. But it's basically, at that point, it's watch Orion do its thing.
Yep, all automated. They can take control, as you were mentioning, right? If for whatever reason they think it's necessary, they are able to perform those role reversals themselves. In fact, the attitude that the capsule will be re-entering will be heads down so that they can see the horizon out the windows and being able to utilize that, even if for whatever reason the displays in front of them were not usable basically. They still have control of the thrusters and whatnot. They will still be able to see the horizon.
Exactly. They'll have the benefit of those Mark 1 eyeballs too.
Yeah, I was going to say they're going to be collecting data as well. Actually having observation of while that's going on during that blackout period is going to be vital for the team to know exactly what they're observing, both out the windows and what's going on inside the cabin at that point as well. They're busy.
Jeff in San Antonio coming with the $10 tip here, saying, "Who's responsible for cleaning out the capsule after the mission? Fear the mags." I mean, if you've been listening through our 2410 stream that we had, they are talking about where do we put all the trash? Which storage bin do you want it in? Where is it? So they are literally tracking every single piece of trash inside the capsule, where it is, and some of it they plan to inspect afterwards to see how it handled the time around the moon, how it handled going through the Van Allen belts, all the different things
there you go.
that they're testing on this mission.
Take only pictures.
Wasn't there a
leave
piece
only
of chocolate
footage.
that was tested at one point? I wanted to know what happened to that. The temptation must have been pretty tough for them to not eat that piece of chocolate as it was out of its wrapper.
Yeah,
Oh,
I know. That would have been good. But yeah, the mags from their launch
Sorry,
were
I-
taken in place
my
inside
mind
of
went
special
completely
sealed
somewhere else
double-locked
on that.
bags
We'll not
with
go there.
odor-protectant material inside of it.
what we want to get
The
into.
maximum absorbency garments is what that stands for. If you want to do your own inferring of what that is. Rick, thank you for the support. Banana Squid, thank you for becoming a Pad Rat member. It's a Kren, thank you for the support. K-Person, checking out the artificial horizons on the two primary flight displays. They show different attitudes. Why is that? I wonder if it was just relative to where they are.
Could also be different different references.
That's what I meant, yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. Again, look inside at the moment.
Like getting feedback from the-
Judy, thank you for the
Probably.
support and the kind words. El Turco, will the internal camera we're seeing now of the crew be lost upon re-entry? Yes.
Yep.
The whole LOS and AOS, the whole blackout there means we won't be able to see anything inside visually at that point. Would be
Yep.
cool though.
They are still obviously gathering that data and we'll hopefully get it after the fact.
Yeah, they'll record that, so we'll get it.
We've even seen the GoPros. I'm sure we saw Reed Wiseman earlier turning on a GoPro and affixing it underneath the control panel there. We're not sure if that's a NASA feed or if it's going to be for a documentary in the future, but certainly that's going to be an interesting one to see the perspective of them in their re-entry. It's really fascinating to see the color changes inside the capsule right now. I'm very distracted because you can tell. I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
what's going on? I'm like, those suits are supposed to be pumpkin orange.
Yeah, the different lighting, as you could see, because they were with the rear of the vehicle pointed towards the sun, and they are starting to get into a more advantageous trajectory for both re-entry as well as coming up on the communications handoff between the Deep Space Network, which is meant for things that are far beyond Earth orbit, and then
There's
the
that
tracking
camera
data
I was
relay
talking
satellite
about.
system.
Sorry to distract you, but there's that GoPro I was mentioning before that we
Yeah.
saw him playing around with. He seems to be taking pictures.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're about to switch over in a bit from that too, as we are talking about the tracking data relay satellite system, the TDRS network, which is meant for more medium low Earth orbit communications. Brooding Jet, especially want to give my best wishes to the Artemis II crew for a safe return to Earth. Godspeed, Artemis II. Also a special thank you to the entire NSF team for the awesome live streams. We're happy to be here. Stuart, what's planned for the service module? Will it burn up at the same time integrity is entering the atmosphere? It basically
Exactly.
will, yeah, but there's an intended maneuver to separate the two, so it's not like if you ever played Kerbal Space Program where you separate away and it comes back and smashes right back into your spacecraft. If anyone's played Kerbal, I'm sure you've done that multiple times. I know I have.
Yep.
But yeah, so they do a special maneuver for that, Alex.
Yeah, the trick, if you're working on Kerbal Space Program, I just say, if you're going to be separating your service module, do it sort of like pointing north instead of forward or backward, and then you reorient the spacecraft. That's basically what they're doing here as well. Like, they're separating 20 minutes before entry interface instead of being like a minute before. That's what you will do, for example, on KSP. Don't do that on real life. But yeah, so they're separating about 20 minutes before entry interface, and they're also doing that little burn with the capsule to separate away, like put a bit of a separation between both. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, Kerbal problems, chat. Exactly. Unknown musician. Did James Webb see Artemis or vice versa?
Nope.
James Webb is out in the Lagrange 2 point, which I believe is over 1,000,000 miles away, and this crew went only about 250,000. Also, James Webb is pointed outward to the rest of the universe, so I doubt they did.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people on the ground, though,
You
that
don't
they were
point
able to
that thing
track
at the sun.
the
That'd be a
spacecraft
hell of a lot
on
of
its
money
way
to
out and on
burn
its way
up.
in as well.
Yeah, they had an open call, didn't they, for companies and individuals that wanted to be able to track
Yep.
the entire mission. I thought that was a really cool way of getting everybody involved in this and gathering data.
Oh yeah, there were citizen scientists who were out there, and part of their goal was just track Orion. You know, if we
Yeah.
ever lose communications with it, there's people around the world that are watching it as it goes. And there's some really cool videos on social media, on YouTube. If you should check some of them out after the stream, of course. Rano saying, thanks to the entire Artemis II coverage. Hope you can all now get a few hours of sleep. Well, in a few hours anyway. Still probably not happening.
Now, you're going to be covering this the next launch, aren't you, Sawyer?
Well, we have the roll that's happening tonight at Starbase, which Alex, I believe right now you're a part of. And then in the morning, there is the NG-24 launch to resupply the International Space Station with the Cygnus resupply vehicle.
Boy, we are just
happening,
busy
I
as
believe
hell,
that's
aren't
for
we?
about 7:13 a.m. You can, by the
We
way,
are
check out
having
when all of these
fun.
are happening with the Next Spaceflight app and nextspaceflight.com, available iOS and Android. So that's
Hope
also
that came
tomorrow.
through.
Steve Ross upgrading to Red Team membership. Doug J, thanks for the great week plus of coverage on the trajectory map on the 2410 stream. What was the starting point of the white line path, TLI? I think they're talking about what we've dubbed the route trout.
Who came up
what?
with
It
that?
looks like a fish when you do the whole trajectory.
Okay,
but
I
yeah.
see it.
I believe it was Jay who did that, and it begins after the separation from the ICPS from the second stage of SLS. So yeah, it doesn't include a little bit of at first, right? That start from the from that launch and when they do the first burn of the ICPS and whatnot.
Yep.
But yeah.
And you can see it's almost fully complete. There's that little bit to go as it gets ready to re-enter Earth's atmosphere. In under an hour from now, hopefully this crew will be bobbing in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of San Diego, completing the Artemis II mission.
Yeah, 0.4% mission progress till completion. I love this percentage up there in the corner. I'd love to know exactly how they measure that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Roy, thank you for the support. Rory, where is the integrity? Oh,
Yeah,
look
it's
at
looking
this.
like
This
it's-
on board.
Wow.
On board one of the helicopters that they'll be using to track Orion as it returns. Again, these are the MH-60S Seahawk helicopters as part of Helicopter Sea Combat Squadron 23. They're asking, where is Integrity Capsule bound after recovery? Air and Space Museum? Potentially reflight on another mission, maybe?
I don't think they've come up with a final location for it, have they yet? I think at the moment it's first thing first will be to check it over. Yeah, they're going to want to see what's gone on with the spacecraft. They're going to inspect it. I think beyond that, we don't know yet. Maybe.
Yeah, somewhere in Texas, maybe, to comply with the
Who knows?
with the flown vehicle one thing.
Yeah. Emily Horn, you say 3.9 Gs, but I actually see 4 Gs in the capsule. Again, it's a rough number.
No, I think it's a joke.
I'm sorry, I'm not hip
Flew over your head.
with the lingo. I get, but
Transfer injection.
which Orion's about to do, fly over our heads. Yeah. Cabbages with a $50 super chat saying, "Good luck to the crew. I hope they make it home safe, and thanks to NSF. I have really enjoyed this stream. Wonderful job, you guys." Well, thank you. Love sharing this with you. In case you can't tell. Aerospace engineer, good luck, Artemis II. Anthony, I see 3 NSF presenters on the stream today, but how many NSF folks are behind the scenes making this coverage possible? Thanks all. This is great.
Good
A lot.
question.
There's a lot of people. We've had all of the people working on the 2410 live stream, people jumping in as well and giving the hourly updates with the beeps and the boops. The whole shop team, all of the different producers, all of the different people who've been on camera for all of the streams, the team that was out there for launch. A lot of people.
A lot of people. Big shout out to those merch team, by the way. I managed to get my patch in time. I was very excited when it arrived in the post.
Yes. All of the Artemis II merch still available on the landing page at
Well, they managed to get it to England in time.
Some really
That's
cool
pretty
stuff there
good.
if you haven't checked it out. Hurtin
Sometimes
says,
that's a
"And
trick
that
all
car
to
home
itself."
right there, it's gorgeous. Of course, it's the animation, but we had those live views a short time ago of it. Nuna saying, watching from Brisbane, Australia, nearly 9 a.m. here. Well, that was part of what we could see. So
We're
wait to the
still
crew.
looking at that animation of Australia.
Yeah. Yes, I'm sorry, LSR. The social media team doing an amazing job as well, sharing all the new images as they came in through NASA. We're on Facebook, Threads, Instagram, X, TikTok, and Blue Sky if you want to check us out there. For all the other spaceflight things happening, all of the images that come down as they still come down after the mission, as well as all the other cool things about spaceflight history that gets posted there. Converted gifting 5 Red Team memberships. Steve becoming a Red member. Sarah, space is still cool ever since I was a little girl. It's still cool.
Hopefully soon.
Daniel asking, could Crew Dragon do a lunar flyby like Orion? Alex, I don't think so. This isn't Grey Dragon anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering when it
there's-
comes time
obviously
to,
without crew, it could. The problem will be
announce,
things like communications,
cover
right?
the
very far away. Dragon is basically meant to
actual
just talk down to the ground
landing.
to the T-Dress
We'll get some
constellation,
better
the tracking
announcements.
data in
That'd be
relay
nice.
satellite constellation. As
Sorry,
we're talking
guys.
about, Orion has just transitioned to that constellation because it's now well within where that constellation is out there in geostationary. Once you go past that, you need to use the deep space
I know,
network.
just like I'm doing, you've got
have a
airspace to
different
fill,
system,
and
right?
nobody
Different
likes
antennas
dead
going
air.
on. Orion has all of that. You also need a heat shield
Actually,
capable
murder
of
and
that
radio.
higher speed re-entry compared to low Earth orbit. So yeah, Dragon will need just uncrewed alone, like without people on board, you will still need some modifications. If you add people, then you need to add a few more systems as well for radiation protection and things like that.
That's a weather
and
balloon going up, by the
hardening
way.
and whatnot. Yep, there we go.
Oh, look, we're
Yeah,
getting
and also
views of the
supplies for the
vessel that-
entirety of the 10-day mission. Dragon can only hold like maybe 5 days.
Sorry, I interrupted you there, Alex, but you've got the views there
Okay.
of the USS John Murtha that's going to be the ship that they will go to. I believe we've seen already that NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman has arrived on that vessel as well, ready to welcome the crew.
Yes, the administrator is out at sea on the vessel out there as well. And that is the same vessel that the crew will be helicoptered onto after splashdown, and the same one where Orion will be placed inside after the crew is offloaded after splashdown. DM Wilco, amazing stream, NSF team. Been watching since the start. You brought joy to many. Thanks so much. Historic moment approaches. Hard to find the words. Godspeed, integrity. Thank you for the 50 Australian. Appreciate it. Jim Edgar and Lisa Bean watching from Snoqualmie, Washington. With the cats.
Oh, I'm not going to make a joke on that one. I was mispronouncing everything in Washington when I was living up there.
Thank you so much for the $50 super chat. Lorenzo, before it separates, let's get a shout out to
Right.
EU
Chehalis.
partners for making the European service module and bringing
I
it
had a
to
whole nother name for it.
international mission with the European service
In fact,
module.
I can't even remember what I did
the,
call it.
Canadian crew member?
astronauts on board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just saying, in Spain we make the thermal systems, and they were actually complaining that it's too efficient and too cold in the capsule.
And the Nutella. Don't forget, we saw the Nutella floating by.
Nutella.
I hope they're getting a lot. I'm sure there's been a huge spike in sales thanks to their little plug on the capsule. But there's
would
been a
think
couple of
so.
companies that somehow managed to get their products on the Orion capsule, which we weren't expecting because NASA's normally pretty tight when it comes to their brand acknowledgements. But yeah, it's been interesting to watch that happen and unfold in
Yeah,
real
I'm
time.
surprised that wasn't
There are
one
a
of
lot
the
brand
things
names for skin lotions,
it's fake,
for
it's fake.
snacks,
People didn't criticize on. I was going to make a joke about,
There's been a lot.
oh look, there's an Amazon package. That proves they're
Very
not
again,
around the
like I've been
moon.
saying, very human.
Saying, hey, considering Amazon,
Brief candle.
probably even more
Thank you,
proof they
everyone.
made
It's a
it.
blast watching this from beginning to end with all of you. Keep looking up. Absolutely.
Keep
Paul, will
looking
the
up.
support module burn up around the same time of re-entry? Yes. In fact, Alex, we are about 15 minutes away now from the command module and the service module separating.
Yep, that time should be about 20 minutes before re-entry. So you see that bottom in that list of 4 clocks that we have there, right?
Sorry, that's rude.
First thing that will happen in that list will be that re-entry. Well, before that, we didn't add any clock for that, but just remove 20 minutes from that clock, and you have the time to separation of the European service module. So yeah.
And again, then there will be a small separation.
Hopefully this
maneuver
is not coming in
to
too
get the
hot. I
capsule
tried turning
away
them
from
down and
the
me up.
ESM. What did they say? It was
Not sure
19
how that's
meters per
coming
second.
across.
Less than that, actually. It was 20 seconds long and 9.1
Test
feet per
me,
second, which is
test
about
me. Okay, yeah, I'm
2.7
thinking I'm coming in
meters per
brighter
second, which
than
is
them.
a tiny bit.
There we go. I was
Or
thinking that
maybe
it was
that's
seconds,
worse.
That's what it was. And again, you can see there the helicopter
copy.
views.
That confirmation from Reed Wiseman aboard Integrity. As you
Oh,
see,
that's looking at the tail.
the assets are being deployed to the splashdown zone. At the time of splashdown, we expect the John P. Murtha to be about 5 miles away from Integrity.
That is Rob Navius, one of the
baby.
great voices of NASA. Dr. Top's becoming a PADRAT member. Trying to get through as many of these as we can before we get into the nitty-gritty here, and then we are all in on re-entry and splashdown. Simon saying, wish we could have Artemis every day. Agreed. Will NASA let you have a reporter and camera on the recovery ship? You guys are way more intelligent. I wish, no, but we do have the views that NASA is providing. So we'll have that at least. Robert becoming a PADRAT
animation.
member.
Okay, just double checking what they had back
Thanks for the
there.
great coverage. NSF, been following for all mission. Can we get an SM jettison timer? I think we have enough timers at the moment. So
Yeah, we should probably explain the other 2 times as well, Sawyer, for
yes,
the...
go for it.
Well, so you're looking at
So-
when we're going to lose the signal as well as when we're going to acquire the signal again. We are expecting a 6-minute window.
Got a little update. So we were talking about
Oh, yes, please.
that separation burn that the capsule will do, right? Before that, you need to test those thrusters, right? So they're going to be doing a short burst of those sort of capsule
Oh, cool.
thrusters in about a minute and a half or so from now, in order to be able to sort of hot fire them and test them before they actually use them for that burn and also for the reentry as well.
Absolutely. We want to make sure everything's up and running and working.
Very
So-
important. All part of this test flight is they're testing every stage,
The
which is really
support
important
facility,
data
I'm trying to
for them
figure it
for when
out.
they return back with both Artemis 3
Thank you.
and 4 and beyond.
Netherlands.
Exactly. And they'll use all of this data.
No wonder I didn't recognize it.
As well. Getting a look there at the
Sorry,
animation
cheating. I got a
where
different
it
feed
is,
over here that
velocity,
came up just a little faster.
from Earth to the moon, shrinking quite rapidly. And again, those numbers that you see on the top there, that is our own sort of numbers that we have up there. So that is not necessarily the exact real-time data like you see in the bottom right there.
Okay, so
those
how
will
many of
start
you
to
out
disappear
there
away as we get
this
to
past
re-entry,
week
but have
have
no fear.
gone
That
out,
does not mean that
looked
they
to the
are losing
moon,
communication.
and thought,
that just means
there's a
that
dot that we
our
can't
numbers
see,
are going away, so
but
we wait
it's
for
there.
the official re-entry portion.
I did it many times. Many times I went out and looked up and going,
As part of the
all right,
Squadron
we're on
23
our
supporting
way,
this
or we're
mission.
there, or we're orbiting, and now we're coming back. I like this stuff.
I guess they're going to park right.
I
on
just
the
wish
edge
I could have done more coverage earlier in the week,
Impressive,
but
really, isn't it?
my computer had other plans.
So as we are now 30 minutes away from entry interface,
Copy that.
And that sucks because I was an IT guy for so many years.
I think if we can
Only about the burn.
sneak ourselves in between the commentary, if you can run us down what to expect these last 42 minutes and 56 seconds until they're hopefully safely in the Pacific Ocean.
Well, I would rephrase that a
Alex,
bit
if you're
better.
able to take us through that.
Hopefully they'll
Yeah,
be
I- I was
safely
trying to listen
landing
to the
on
update, sorry.
the Pacific Ocean.
They
All
should be
good.
coming up on that
Yeah, I wanna
separation in
find them.
9 minutes.
Safely in the Pacific Ocean.
About 3 minutes later
Splitting
is
hairs.
when the burn will happen from the capsule.
Look
On
good
the
on
water,
separate
in
away.
the water.
Here we go.
Sounds good. So while you're listening to that, there was a question, someone asking why can't they use Starlink for better imagery?
They're
for
above it.
re-entry? Well, the Starlink is a lot lower down to Earth, so that was part of why they didn't use it to begin with for most of the mission. But also, you're going to be going through this giant area of plasma, and it is a small capsule. So when the plasma basically engulfs it, it will go all the way around. That's the whole point of the teardrop shape that they use when they design these capsules to begin with. And so it will kind of envelop it, so there's not really anywhere for the signal to even get through if they were to try and get near to one of
Yep.
those Starlink satellites.
It's in
And I know, we've compared this to SpaceX and Starship and whatnot. It uses Starlink during re-entry. You know what other spacecraft that SpaceX makes that doesn't use any of that? That's Dragon, and we also have a blackout, right? So like, look, it's just physics. It's how it works. Dragon is also a capsule. It's basically what you will see here with Orion. We don't get any views of re-entry from the capsule itself for when we cover dragons and things like that because of that, because it's the blackout that happens. Starship is very big. It creates its own sort of shadow in the plasma, right, and it can shoot out those signals.
Careful
to
what
be
you
able
just
to
said
receive
there.
that through Starlink. Not a new thing. We're talking about this. The shuttle also used
Super
that
shot.
during its re-entry, especially on the second half of the program, where it already had those TDRS satellites, that tracking data and relay satellite system.
Exactly, which was first launched by the space shuttle, by the way, back in the day. So it's an older system, but it still works. Billy Day with a $50 tip at tips.nasaspaceflight.com saying 50 years from one great achievement
NASA
to
always
another.
has the really
Welcome to
cool
integrity.
models
Hopefully we get to see
everywhere,
the crew
you know?
make it home in
You ever
just a
see
short
them up
while.
close, they're like
John Marquez,
full
thank you for the
details
$20.
and
You
made.
guys are awesome. Good job, Artemis II.
It didn't come Revell Model Company, no.
Also, someone said NSF nerdy space friends. Yes.
Alex just got a bit excited. What are you hearing, Alex?
Yeah, sorry, I was actually writing it in the back channel. So
Ballpark, 40 minutes.
they had a successful
Jet
So
maneuvering.
they had a
Here's a live view.
successful hot firing of those
Yep.
thrusters. You can see, in fact, two of those there beneath the windows. Two of those thrusters on the capsule itself. But yeah, these will separate.
Confirming.
Is
To
that like that
way
claw
down towards
there?
the bottom. Pretty much under the A and under the A.
Love
Guidance
seeing these live
Navigation
views
and
from
Control Officer here in Mission Control confirming that we have good lock on GPS data.
There we go.
good to hear.
That was one of the other things as well that they were looking at. They did not capture GPS data earlier. And so now they have a good lock on the GPS. The capsule doesn't use the GPS when it's on the moon, right? But when it comes back to Earth,
No.
and it needs to know where it's going to, and doing those role reversals and guiding itself to the splashdown zone, it does need the GPS. And so it's very important for it to lock on the GPS signal. So that's good. That's great.
We do too, especially GPS 1 is accepting in nav channels 1 and 3.
All right.
So we are expecting to lose this imagery shortly, am I right? When we
Yeah.
yeah, which we're ashamed to see.
So we don't know if we'll still have visuals during the actual separation itself. We can hope, because again, this is from the solar array wings on the European service module. There are 4 of these saws. Each of them has the camera on the end. This is what's been helping to provide the power, the propulsion, a lot of life support systems, all coming from this European service module on the back. That will jettison away, and then once that is gone, the capsule is on its own.
Also, not only they have locked on GPS, but it's basically, as Rob Navi said, spot on. Like it's basically down the middle, right on target.
That's what we like to hear.
So if NASA's
So-
listening, we would like a countdown to when that jettison
for
happens.
CM-SM set and go for CM raise.
We know it's about 20
Houston, we
minutes
see the
before
same
the
on board and
splashdown.
copy go for CM raise.
All right, so they'll perform that race burn.
Yep.
So once
CM,
the two, go ahead, Sawyer.
I was going to say CM is command module, SM is the service module. So that's the European service module, and integrity. Go ahead.
Yep. Yeah, I was mentioning that call out was that they were proved and they were good to do that race burn that we were talking about, right? Once the capsule separates from the service module, it'll use those roll thrusters to separate away, put a bit of a separation in between both modules. It's a very short burn, just 20 seconds, and these thrusters are not too powerful to begin with, right? So it's nothing. It's like less than 3 meters per second, very small separation, but good enough to drift apart in the 20 minutes that it'll take from that until entry interface.
Double check on the.
Yeah. Again, if you've used Kerbal Space Program as a reference there, it's using your upper stage engine versus using the RCS thrusters on the capsule, basically.
Yep. I mean, quick math here. 3 meters per second of separation speed, right? So 1 minute, that's 180 meters. Multiply that by 20, you're already well into kilometers of distance from the service module.
Cautions. What happened is while the thrusters were firing, multiple pressure sensors on each of the strings diverged a bit from each other. Those limits look to be set pretty tight. We think it could happen again when the thrusters fire in the future, so we are going to suppress those messages.
All right.
We concur with suppress, not inhibit. Thank you.
What does that mean?
So they won't get alarm warning sounds, it sounds like, if those numbers pop up again.
Oh,
So definitely don't freak out.
Yeah.
Versus inhibit, which is basically just ignore the system entirely. Again, this the animation reference to where they are at the moment. This the live view from outside of Orion spacecraft named Integrity. On board, Commander Reed Weissman, pilot Victor Glover, and mission specialist Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen, the latter of the Canadian Space Agency.
23 by.
4 of them have spent a little over 9 days in space up to this point, including flying around the moon, going farther than any humans ever have in history. Also marking the first woman, first non-American, and first person of color to go outside of the Earth orbit and make their way out towards the moon's sphere of influence.
First toilet to leave low Earth orbit as well. We have to keep mentioning it.
I would go for the more sentimental stuff, but that works too, yes.
It is Ryan's favourite fact. We have to keep adding it in there.
Coming up on approximately a minute to go until the separation of the service module, so the European-made service module built by Airbus on the left portion of the screen there, and the Orion capsule itself. Kind of see that more towards the right portion of the screen. You've got that adapter there with the NASA worm logo looking right into that camera there.
The NASA worm logo?
Those two will
Is that
separate
how you
away,
refer to it?
And then they will do
You're
a short
fired.
maneuver a couple minutes after to make sure that they are away from each other, and that as Orion enters Earth's atmosphere and encounters entry interface, that it doesn't accidentally run into it at any point. So
NASA worm
is there?
logo.
It's pyrotechnics, Alex, that will separate it away, right?
Yep.
I did wonder if they were going to move
Heart
away
rate
from that
going
image. Yeah.
crazy.
Like, will they give us the live image? I'm not sure that they will.
Standing by now
Let's see.
for separation. Hopefully we get the view of it from this camera. Standing by with you.
There we go.
Oh my
Woo!
There we go.
Look at these views.
Wow.
Ah,
These are-
just lost it.
Those were live views.
Ah, that was sweet. Whoop, whoop.
Oh,
Look
we're
at
going
that.
back.
This
Wow.
from inside the European service module. You can see the bit of the heat shield there as Orion moves away. Orion now free flying on its own.
And look
Thank
at the
you,
debris.
European service module, for all of your work.
Man, that was cool. That was live. That's something we've never seen. We've never seen. I don't think we've ever seen
All right.
Apollos do that.
That is not the same blizzard that we were used to seeing from the toilet. That's just
Oh,
separation.
boy, that's you're back in the toilet again.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, that's a
That
goodness
was amazing.
gracious,
We
all right.
weren't sure whether or not we were going to see that live. I'm not sure the Europeans even knew if they were going to be able to show that live, but I think that was quite a treat for all of us.
Yeah.
Well, thanks to
We
ESA,
tried,
they
and we got
made that very
really
well.
good views there.
We did. It was very
Should be
impressive.
coming up on that race burn in a couple of minutes, less than a couple of minutes actually.
Probably about 90 seconds-ish from now. So yes, now that they have separated away from each other, Orion's heat shield now exposed. As we were talking about, it will do that short maneuver where it will boost itself away from the service module. The European service module will re-enter and will, if all goes to plan, break up, with most of it either disintegrating away or tiny pieces, if anything, that would splash down. And then, of course, the Orion capsule will orient itself for re-entry following that, with the heat shield, those Avcoat blocks pointed towards the atmosphere.
Window with the sun hitting the side and the solar rays and the NASA worm right there. It's a beautiful looking machine.
Oh.
Roger.
It must feel
Sounded
very
like that was
strange for
Victor.
them to be separated from that now and being able to see it behind them.
Hey, isn't that supposed to be behind us?
Not how fast it actually maneuvered.
No.
That was
Exactly.
the NASA.
Okay, that was
innovation
good.
They have
Points.
catching
Now you
up.
can
Points.
see why they saw the service module, because they rotated in such a way that the windows are facing it. Yeah,
Exactly, and that sounded like pilot Victor Glover on that comment.
less than a minute now to that burn.
And at that point, they're expecting that loss of signal. Am I right?
No, that's still a little
No.
ways away.
Oh no, sorry.
Yeah, that's
My
after
timing's
re-entry.
off. We are expecting that after re-entry though, for about 6 minutes. We lost
Yep.
it. We lost those countdown clocks. They've been there all along, and now all of a sudden they've gone.
Yeah.
No, that's okay. They're out of the way intentionally so we can focus on what's happening right now. So, a little under 17 minutes away from entry interface. So, Alex, can you kind of explain what that is, what we mean by re-entry and entry interface?
Yeah, it's sort of like a very weird line. I guess it's a NASA convention basically. It's about 400,000 feet in altitude, right? That will be about 122 kilometers in altitude. And it's technically, so it starts already feeling a little bit of the drag of the atmosphere, but it's not a lot. The Earth is still winning. The Earth gravity is still winning, and so it'll still speed up after entry interface. The real thick part of re-entry will not begin until actually 30 seconds after that. So after re-entry interface, it'll be another 30 seconds.
Exactly.
And the race burn has just been completed. I just heard. So
Here we go. The capsule
Hey,
now
Victor,
out of the
let's
way
go to
of
board,
the
Jackie.
ESM.
there we go.
European service module has done its job. It's out of the way. Next up is that re-entry, which once the capsule actually hits that part of the atmosphere that NASA considers entry interface, like you were just talking about, it is expected to be traveling at about 23,783 miles per hour, or about 38,275 kilometers per hour.
That's cooking.
It will then descend that 400,000 feet up, which is about 122 kilometers in altitude. It will descend that in about 13 minutes. And it will be about 1,700 nautical miles, or 3,150 kilometers downrange from the splashdown site. We are now 15 minutes away from entry interface.
Cool.
Amazing.
It really is, isn't it?
Huge numbers all across. If you think about it, it just gets too much.
Yeah. Well, they're good numbers at least. It's crazy to think that they will be going from, almost 24,000 miles an hour, over 38,000 kilometers per hour, to 19 in about 13 minutes total time.
19 miles an hour.
So it's amazing how they're able to do that. And again, I mean, it will hit that peak heating about 1 minute after entry interface. And that's also when we get into the what people originally remember as the skip maneuver from Artemis 1. But for a reminder for people joining in this later portion here, Alex, what exactly is the sort of trajectory once it gets into that entry interface? What will it be doing after that?
Cooking.
Yeah, so Orion will be using its thrusters to perform two different maneuvers, if you will. One of them will be what are called role reversals, which is, I sort of put the example before, if you were down a straight road with your car, it will be sort of like wasting your car's fuel going left and right, right? There'll be 5 of those role reversals, 2 of them at the beginning, sort of at the forward part of the entry, and then another 3 later into the entry. So what those do is just bleed off that energy that is carrying the
It's the opposite of when you're going up a hill and how they kind of make it windy, so it's a little easier on you to walk up it rather than going straight. Same thing, except doing the windy bits coming down.
Which is it enters first.
More interaction with resistance from the atmosphere to slow it down.
The atmosphere a little bit, stay up there for a few minutes, and then come back down, right? Artemis II will do a bit of a different trajectory in this case. It'll still do a bit of a loft in that trajectory. It'll still go up a little bit, but it will not go all the way out, just like Artemis 1. And so it'll be, again, it's sort of like a loft trajectory, as they call it. And so it'll come down sort of like a first dip. It'll get up a little bit, very subtly out, but nothing like Artemis 1, and then it'll come back down. That is exactly those role reversals that I was saying, on the first
We
dip,
spare
on
no
the second
expense
one.
here for our special effects department.
So that's more or less what it
So instead of coming
tries to
straight
take off
down,
all of that
it's going to
energy.
pitch and pitch and pitch
Exactly.
and pitch and pitch.
Kind of like
Over-exaggerated.
across the water, but that was more of the original Artemis 1
Not to
trajectory.
scale.
This one, it will
Do
go
not
in
try
and
this
then
at home.
Kind of like come up a little bit and then
Yeah.
go down the rest of the way.
We is professionals.
Guess we'll have to go back.
Oh, darn, I left my wallet on the
In the
moon.
nominal situations, I see a lot of people might be new and things like that. They're going to hit about 3.9 Gs on re-entry, if you're curious.
Yep. And people asking about how hot, they're expecting about 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit, which I believe is about 3,000 Celsius, or about half as hot as the surface of the sun.
Oh.
So that's the temperature reference there.
And you won't have much of a view through those windows.
Very
It'll just
hot.
be glowing plasma.
You can
Exactly,
see
yeah.
also that
Turning
heads
away.
down re-entry attitude, looking sort of at the horizon of Earth, right? So that they are able and aware of where they are, even if the display units failed, which of
okay.
course we don't expect that to happen. But they're always aware of where the horizon is, which is very important. Again, they're doing those role reversals, rolling one way or the other, right? Rotating either to the left, counterclockwise, I guess, or clockwise to the right. And so that's very important.
Exactly.
18
So yeah,
minute
that's why the wheels are
warning.
pointed downward. It's sort of a backup there.
Yep.
So of course we will wait to see hopefully the view from those helicopters that have the cameras on board. We know the WB-57 is out and about, but also we will be keeping an eye on the view from space. This a live look from the SEN 4K cameras that they
Love
have
that.
aboard the International Space Station. We are a proud partner with SEN to be able to use their ISS cameras.
It was cool. I
We will
sometimes
see,
set that
because
as
we have
a
rough
screensaver.
area around the space station.
I
as
got a
we
little
return.
TV in the
We will see if the
kitchen.
crew is able to see anything, and of course we will keep a.
Sometimes I just leave it on for a while. I'm not watching anything, but I'll kick it over and just
to
have
see
it
if we
the
can see anything as
ISS
well during re-entry.
image.
Is that
It's kind of,
Northeast
you know,
Russia?
like active
Yeah,
wallpaper.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, okay, they're telling me in the back channel that, yeah. I know my geography.
Yeah. So if you see the SEN in the corner, that is from the International Space Station. And right now you can see we are under 10 minutes away from entry interface.
Yeah, if I'm not doing that, I'm usually having it
The nerve
play
button again in place.
spy jazz.
Yeah.
But yeah.
60s.
So in
70s
regards to the,
kind of
you can see them rolling a bit there. But yes,
adventure
the,
jazz.
entry interface portion, as we mentioned, that starts at about 400,000 feet. So that's
Quite a lot
that's
of
a
it,
view
actually.
from
Pretty
inside
I was
cool.
going to
Orion, it
say
looks
that
like.
capsule image. How amazing! Because obviously we've lost the view from outside because they've jettisoned the European service module. So it's great to be able to see even a little bit from what's going on inside.
They
Bit-
separated
bit of a
from him.
reflection there of the
Yes.
the orange spacesuits that are the crew are obviously wearing.
Yes, the Ox suits, the Orion Crew Survival System suits.
Pumpkin suits.
Yes. Yeah, they were previously the Aces suits back in the shuttle day. And you could see... Trying to see if that's the camera rolling or the spacecraft actually doing a roll at that point.
I think it's the camera.
I think that's
'Cause I
actually a
can see the-
handheld camera. That might
Yeah.
even be the one that we've seen Reed Wiseman playing with in front of him. Oh,
Oh,
You
really?
can see the spacecraft. It's a little hard to tell, but
Yeah.
you can see the reflection of the crew in that window there. This is amazing. 8 minutes to go till they hit the atmosphere, and then 9 minutes until they reach peak heating. This is
and around that
amazing
point, we
news.
are going to lose the signal from inside the capsule, aren't we? So that is expected.
Yes, there
Yeah.
will be a portion of 6 minutes where we will lose signal because of the plasma engulfing the capsule at that point as it hits that hot part of reentry, and as parts of the heat shield, which are designed to burn away, do burn away.
Just to put in perspective between entry interface and Orion becoming subsonic, basically being under the speed of sound, that is 9 minutes. So it's going to be 9 minutes going from incredibly high speeds to just below
We
the
see
speed
the
of
same on
sound.
board, Jackie.
That's pretty fast deceleration.
Yeah, they will spend about half of the time during their reentry out of communications, so 6 of the 13 minutes. They are now in entry
Houston,
There's the-
interface attitude. There's the
There's
Earth.
the
Yeah.
Earth.
Update your attitude.
We're in step 37, transferring nav state to BFS.
That's that Earth light we've been hearing about so much across this entirety of this mission. It is so bright.
That's how bright it is.
Amazing.
And no stars
Now,
visible.
hopefully,
Ooh.
about 20 minutes and 20 seconds from now, we will have this crew safely bobbing in the Pacific Ocean.
509. We are not below 0.2.
It updated.
Animation catching up.
Integrity,
It's
no
crazy to
action
look
required.
at that. I was going to say distance from the Earth and how quickly we've
Integrity.
come back down to.
All right. Under 20 minutes now until splashdown. About 6 minutes to go until we get into re-entry. Here, the crew doing all their final checks. The crew got suited up a couple hours ago into their the pumpkin suits like we were talking about there. You can see the reflection of them in the top of that window as they near Earth, now under 1,000 kilometers in
Pumpkin
altitude
suits.
approximately.
I'm gonna buy this guy
I
a
gotta ask
thesaurus.
this, is that the moon?
They did mention that they could see the moon. and,
That's the Earth.
They
That
see
it was
that
going out
dot
their
there.
window.
That bright
And
thing
that's
is
when they
the
said,
Earth.
I guess we'll have to go back. Let's see.
I thought it was like a smudge on the window or something. But it's
No, but
being too
I'm-
fixed there.
Amazed we have this view at the moment here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
5 minutes until re-entry.
Which means we're
And at
about
that-
5 minutes from losing that signal, correct?
About 6-ish minutes, but yeah. Anyway, so yes, it will encounter entry interface at 122 kilometers or 76 miles up, traveling over 38,000 kilometers an hour or just under 24,000 miles per hour. Not a speed record, but close. And then reach that
EI downloads.
peak.
Houston concurs.
And whoever double
and
check
reach
that.
that
Wow.
peak heating
Wow.
about a minute after.
That feed's no longer correct because I
They
don't
dip
think
into the atmosphere. A small
those fins
bump
were on the
upwards
ESA
will do some roll
module. They're not on
reversals
the
to help slow itself down. The crew experiencing a max
Orion
all
module.
goes well of just under 4 Gs. and then begins the parachute
Come on,
deploy
guys.
sequence, of which 11 total parachutes over different times and uses will be deployed, including ones for the forward bay cover, the ones to help bring out the drogue chutes, and then the ones that will be used to bring out the 3 main chutes. Under 4 minutes to go. Gorgeous live views of the Earth from onboard Orion. And if you've seen the views from the International Space Station in comparison, you can really get an idea of the speed at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, already getting close to that altitude of the ISS now.
Yes, the ISS is about 250-ish or 400-ish kilometers up in altitude.
Yeah, they're already below the level of the
It's
space
just going so
station.
much faster than the ISS.
ISS going 17,500 miles per hour. This will be going just under 24,000 when it hits the atmosphere.
Currently around that right now, according to the numbers we're seeing on screen.
Under 3 minutes. We're now about 16 and a half minutes from home. Everything appears to be looking good so far. Crew has been in great spirits this whole time.
Sorry, just couldn't resist that
All
one.
suited up, ready to go.
Ready to
Again,
get home.
There will be a slight loss of signal, of which we will lose this video, and we will keep an eye out and wait for that reacquisition of signal. There are multiple aerial assets out at sea in the Pacific near where this will be splashing down. This again splashing down off the coast of San Diego, although a bit farther out in the Pacific Ocean. So there's a chance that maybe someone will see it, but highly unlikely that you'd be able to see it from California at this point.
No, we got
I might add
storms
that
out
those
there,
crews
so
that are going
hopefully.
to be part of the recovery team have been
I've
working
got
on this
Northern
for
California.
years.
We're actually getting
They're well
rain, which
prepared.
is
There's going to
good.
be a crew of divers that meet the
San Diego,
with,
of course it's sunny.
inflatable dinghies, boats, with the helicopter team that's being sent out there from the combat
Inflatable
squadron
thingy
23,
boats.
from the helicopter
come
sea
on.
combat squadron 23.
The one guy
should I
meant to
say.
say assets, and he got that right.
Yep, hearing integrity systems are in good shape. No issues with the vehicle or crew. And the weather in their splashdown location, as we heard earlier, looks good. Scattered clouds at 10,000 feet. Very light winds at 7 knots. Everything looking good at this point. And yeah, as you pointed out, the USS John P. Murtaugh is ready to recover the crew and the capsule downrange.
John D. Murtaugh.
We have the helicopters, WB-57, and other aerial assets out in the range to try and catch video of Orion once it returns. Now below the altitude of the ISS, a minute to go until peak heating, or 2 minutes to go until peak heating, 1 minute to go until entry interface. Here at NSF, we wish the crew of Artemis II
Integrity,
Godspeed.
1 minute to a
Good luck.
6-minute blackout.
Integrity.
Absolutely beautiful.
There we go.
Reed, Victor, Christina, Jeremy, looking forward to having you home. 30 seconds to go until that point.
These views are just incredible, aren't they?
Enjoying them while
Yep.
we have them, that's for sure.
Yeah, once entry interface is hit, the blackout will not be instant. It'll take about 25 seconds or so after that
I wonder which
to hit the
coast
moment
just
where,
went by.
they would lose.
Just see
very
it through the crowds,
Yep,
through the
hopefully we'll get to see
clouds.
some of that plasma before it blocks out the signal here. That is our numbers disappearing on the top of the screen. That is not NASA losing any data from the spacecraft. That's just our animation that we had at the top.
Wow. There we go.
Orion orienting itself here now, getting ready to go through the atmosphere.
Plasma.
There you
There we
see
go,
some of the
yeah.
plasma on the right. Coming up shortly on that expected loss of signal. Plasma starting to engulf the window.
Ooh.
Every second of signal that we get is bonus here.
No.
And it's
Okay, that's the
beautiful.
animation, obviously.
Capsule now about to reach temperatures of 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit or 3,000 degrees Celsius. For reference, the
That one's
surface
still
of the
on
sun
delay.
is 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit. And you can see there from the yeah,
I'm
from
not
the
sure
NASA
what. I'm
tracking
not sure
plate
what.
that
That's going in
we've
the
had
wrong
all the way
direction. I'm
through
not sure
here,
what that one is up on top now.
through this whole mission. Obviously, they also are losing some of that live data, given that it is
Okay.
engulfed in the plasma. Right now, the abcoat blocks underneath Orion, absorbing most of that heat and burning away the ablative material on the end. So part of that heat shield is designed to burn away intentionally. It
Oh.
looks like we have aerial assets already catching it.
There we go.
Wow.
You
Should
gotta
be
be
already
kidding.
on peak heating, by the way. They hit that about a minute and a half into the reentry. So already in that period of peak heating.
12 minutes ago until splashdown. Again, amazing that we already have some of those aerial assets starting to catch it from this far away. A reminder that when it hit the atmosphere there at the 400,000 feet mark, it was still 2,000 statute miles or 3,150 kilometers away from its splashdown area. And a reminder, we are currently in a loss of signal, which is why you see the animation. There is no audio or video from inside the capsule with the crew at this point. The plasma blocking those signals.
We've got that countdown clock coming in with the acquisition of signal when we're expecting to hear from the crew again in about 4 minutes' time.
And again, that is approximate time. So
Yeah.
the acquisition of signal, if it doesn't reacquire exactly at 0, that's fine.
Don't panic.
Sometimes it can even
Exactly.
be earlier. We got a few more seconds there of signal, even when they predicted a loss of signal earlier. So hey, look, we can even get that acquisition of signal even earlier than predicted.
Exactly. Now about 50 miles in altitude at this point.
P3 has acquisition of integrity, one of the aerial assets.
And now you can see it's doing that slight raise. If you look at the altitude there, that was going in, and now it's going to slightly come out of the atmosphere a bit, but not as dramatic as we saw during Artemis I.
The Easter Bunny hop, we should call that.
And again, these are estimated numbers at this point, not exact.
We're still just under 3 minutes away from getting that acquisition of signal back, approximately. And we'll know a little more from what's going on with the crew.
There we go. Now you can see some of the numbers there in the bottom right.
And we're expecting the deployment of those parachutes at around 35,000 feet. Obviously, we'll see the drogue first, the drogues, before we see the rest of the parachutes deploy.
Yes, as pointed out, there's the cover that has been protecting the parachutes from the vacuum of space. And that forward bay cover has 3 parachutes of its own for it to fall away from the capsule. Then that will be followed by 2 drogue chutes that will deploy. Right after that cover separates, that will help slow integrity down. Those will go for about a minute, and then those will be cut, and then 3 pilot parachutes will then
All
help
airborne
deploy the 3
assets
mains.
have a visual on integrity. So
That's incredible.
They are now looking at it. There we go.
Yep, WV-57 also has the visual. Hopefully we will get that imagery as well shortly.
As you saw from before,
Helicopter.
it's probably quite shaky, so it's probably quite difficult to see on a screen like this. But they've got the visual. That's what's the important part.
There we
You can
go.
see
Yeah.
See the velocity going down as well. Now under 14,000 miles an hour.
Should we comment up on that acquisition of signal in about a minute and 20 seconds from now? It could be a little bit earlier, it could be a little bit later. It depends.
Yep, all approximate.
Get out of the way, though.
Yep.
But so far, so good. We are still just about 8 minutes away from that splashdown when we're expecting it to reach the Pacific Ocean.
ISS is also approaching the splashdown area
That's good timing.
ahead, so we'll see if we get anything from that as well. Again, this obviously still a visualization and animation at this point. Hopefully we will start getting actual video signals shortly, and we should be hearing from the crew. in approximately 30 seconds or so. Again, if it's a little bit longer, a little bit shorter, don't worry.
We are now processing data from Integrity.
Let's listen in.
That's Rob Navius, NASA Communications, that you hear the voice of. Sounds like they're getting data from the spacecraft. Hopefully we get to hear from the crew.
Yeah, we're waiting for that signal
Landing and
to
support officer
re-establish.
reports the small boats are en route to the splashdown target zone.
Fast boat's on the way. Oh, shit.
That
There
looks
we
like
go.
the WB-57. Or one of the aerial assets with the infrared view.
That is cool. It's like,
Coming up in less than 7 minutes till the splashdown time.
our tech now is like, kicks ass.
And all times approximate.
Passing through 150,000 feet, our trajectory is perfect.
Another
Getting
IR shot.
intermittent views.
That's the tail, so it's not going up. It's actually coming down, but the angle's off. But that's it's like a comet.
Look how hot that is coming in. Really get an idea of the
A
heat.
comet and its tail.
Post-blackout.
It's a shooting star.
Houston,
That will make it through.
you loud and clear.
Let's go.
Yes.
Is
The moment we all
nominal,
breathe a sigh
and
of
your
relief.
recovery teams have visual.
Cool.
Guidance looks good.
No action for the enabled internal camera controller fail.
Big cheers from the viewing room here in Mission Control as voice communication reestablished with Commander Reed Wiseman. For America and a waiting world, Integrity is 5.5 minutes away from
Give us
coming-
strobe warning. I
Let's
want
see
some
those
epileptics
parachutes.
spazzing out right now. Spazzing.
Should be in a few minutes from now.
Yeah, still a couple minutes away. Again,
Passing
you can see from this
100,000
infrared
feet
view
now.
just the heat.
Wop, wop, wop.
Yep.
That is
range
just
to splash
so
down
cool.
19 nautical miles.
Almost like a rave going on now, you know.
Ryan should be subsonic very soon now.
I'm probably not going to hear that, but
You can
that'd be
see
cool
just
if
how
we did.
bright it is on our screens. All that plasma still wrapping around the capsule.
If you have epilepsy, you may want to look away for a few
Yeah.
minutes. We'll let you
It's
know.
a bit late. I was way ahead of you on that one.
Not our thing.
If you had epilepsy,
Yeah, this is
epilepsy,
exactly
you'd
as
be.
I do
The
apologize.
there we
impact
go.
to the camera
Oh!
controller fail is no Cab 1 views of the chutes.
Well, that looks
You
like
can look away. You can look back now for those.
Integrity.
a zoom in on something coming in
You can see
fast.
the details in the capsule
Processing
there.
good data through the GPS system. A good view of Integrity. Time to splash down 4.5 minutes.
4.5 minutes of fall.
Should be coming up on that forward bay cover jettison. in
And a view
less
of
than
Integrity from the
half a minute.
WB-57. We're at 50,000 feet.
Again, it was around 35,000 feet. We're expecting those parachutes
That's
to start
incredible.
to deploy. It's around the height that you were.
Even
flying
back
at
in the
when
Apollo days,
passenger
we really
plane.
didn't see anything until the
Okay.
balloons came out. Then we could
Because
find
you
it
see
and
heat
track
coming
it.
off of it as it came back from that fiery reentry.
Look at the zoom we can do now. Look at that.
Top
Look at
of
that.
the
Look at that.
That cover.
That is so
protects the
cool. Look at that.
parachutes.
Gyros are armed for forward bay cover jettison.
Oh, man.
And that cover itself has its own parachutes to move it away from the capsule. And that will be
And
followed
we
by the
never got
deployment
footage like this
of
before.
those drogue shoots.
Woo! Sorry, I didn't mean to yell on the microphone. I should put a noise limiter on this thing. Whoops.
There goes the cover with its
Parachutes.
shoots.
And we're on drogues.
Yeah!
And Houston, we're visual 2 drogues out the window.
Two good drogue
Each of those
shoots.
about-
Coming up on the mains.
Next up,
Each about 22 feet, 7 meters in diameter.
next up.
Oh,
is
yeah.
one of the
Oh,
pilot
yeah.
Parachutes that will pull the main chutes out. Time to splash down 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
3 minutes of falling.
Amazing imagery here.
Yep. Spacecraft still at quite the
Perfect
speed,
descent
but it will
rate
be
according
slowing
to
down.
flight dynamics.
Good rate on 2 drogues.
We see the same on board.
Man, this stuff is good shit. Stuff. Good stuff.
You can see it's well below the tracking plane.
Yeah, Yes, it will be going down to a speed of 19 miles per hour at touchdown.
Passing through
or at splashdown.
10,000 feet.
Come on, guys, give me a donation up here so I can get a larger screen so I can
The
see
main
this in high
separate
def.
about 6,000, 5,000 feet in altitude.
Yeah, you
Should be
don't want them
coming
out
soon.
Don't want them out too early.
Got it.
They can break. There we go.
There's the cut.
19-inch. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go.
Lanes.
Main chute
Sweetness. Come on.
It'll take a minute to
we're
fully
at 5,000 feet.
inflate.
Come on. Come on, baby.
There we go.
You're catching it. You're
Let's see,
catching
we
it.
can
You're
get-
catching it. You got it.
Recovery beacon has
Oh,
been
yeah.
activated
Oh,
on
yeah.
Integrity,
Whoop.
There we go.
and we have 3 good main
Beautiful.
chutes.
Ah,
Three
beautiful.
main chutes, good reefing, good descent rate.
And we see
That was
3
a little,
good-looking parachutes.
Nerve-wracking for a minute.
Those are each 116 feet or 35 meters in diameter.
They're huge.
265
Hey,
feet or
this is an
80
American
long.
broadcast. Use old
Each
money.
one
Integrity.
weighs
Cabin
300
pressure indicates
pounds.
no need
Meters.
for hydrazine check.
No, feet.
Integrity captain.
Nice IR image
So
there.
leaking,
And that, look at
hypergolic
that.
fuels.
Look how hot
Perfect
that thing still is.
For Integrity,
Come on, band down.
this crew sounding
Trying to look over.
Hale and Hardy on board.
Woo!
Time to splash down 1 minute 15 seconds.
Look
I
at
can tell
that.
you, friends of the crew have been messaging me saying
Look at
just-
that.
they were holding their breath for that blackout moment. We all knew it was coming, but there's something very disheartening to know
right.
that your friends are on board there, waiting for that moment for
Integrity about to
reconnection.
complete
And when
a
they
journey
heard them,
spanning
wow!
481 miles from its launch from the Kennedy Space Center back on April
Way
1st,
too cool.
and a trip around the moon.
Absolute
It's about
fantastic.
1,117,659 kilometers if you use metric.
Again, there's
Had
3
that
main
number
parachutes.
already.
You heard me.
Helping to slow the spacecraft down. It's still going to be a bit of a jolt to the crew on the actual splashdown itself. Oh, you can
Look
see
at
some
that,
of
look at
the,
that.
Love
burning
that.
off there of
Yeah.
those hypergolics, it looks like. Totally fine.
As expected.
Passing
Exactly.
through 1,000 feet.
Man, that thing is still glowing hot in the IR. Come on, pan down,
Approximately
pan
15
down.
seconds to splashdown. It's going to feel a bit like getting into a car accident, but considering that they were just 13 minutes ago traveling at 24,000 miles per hour, this is quite impressive. And again, as we said, that time in the top left was estimated. It obviously varies depending on exact reentry profile, winds,
Yep.
and all of that.
Your mileage may vary.
Closing in now. Let's see the splashdown.
Houston Integrity splashdown, sending post.
Splashdown.
We are down.
Splashdown, waiting on VLC.
Beautiful.
Splashdown confirmed at 7:07 p.m. Central Time, 5:07 p.m. Pacific Time.
See, we can do it.
From the pages of Jules Verne to a modern-day mission to the moon, a new chapter of the exploration of our celestial neighbor is complete. Integrity's astronauts back on Earth.
Excellent. Absolutely amazing.
As you pointed out, almost 700,000 miles, almost 1.2
And the landing
million
and support
kilometers.
officer reports
Look at
the
that,
vehicle
still
is
hot.
stable 1. We still will be deploying the crew module
It's
upgrade
still
system to
cooking.
maintain that orientation. A perfect bullseye splashdown for Integrity and its 4 astronauts.
Stable 1 means the capsule is upright.
Obviously, it's going to take a moment. They're not going rushing in too quickly to recover the crew. They've got to give it a little bit of time to settle.
It is, as you pointed out, going to take a couple of minutes. You saw some of that hypergolic propellants and things venting out, clearing out all of the lines. Of course, they want to make sure that is all safe. You will see the giant balloons start to inflate, as they were talking about, which is part of the crew uprighting system. So that way they are in stable 1, meaning
The
that the capsule is
unofficial
upright.
splashdown time, 7:07 and 47 seconds p.m. Central Time. We'll get that refined for you. That would put the end of the mission at a mission elapsed time of 9 days, 1 hour, 31 minutes, 35 seconds.
That's
A little less than what they were originally guesstimating.
Man, you can make out the details on it and everything.
And
think
we're
earlier they were
configuring
saying
for very low
157.
data rate.
Obviously
We'll
getting
see some
live
of the other
feeds from
views
them.
it looks like over
occurring
there.
in the Pacific, southwest of San Diego, at 7:07 and 47 seconds p.m.
Southwest. Hey,
City
boys.
Houston,
How's-
com check on VLDR.
Fair
That's
winds
what
and
I was
following
looking for,
seas,
that
my
view
friends.
from the
Houston, we have you
USS
loud and clear on
John
VLAR.
Mercer.
How else?
We have you the same. We'll meet you over in post landing.
There we go.
And with
Perfect
that, they are no
communications
longer using
established.
A journey. We are stable 1, 4 green crew members.
Houston, copy.
This
Reed
is when it
Wiseman
sucks to be
reporting
working in
four green crew
engineering.
members. That is not their complexion. That is
Join the Navy, see the world.
great condition.
From
That's
engineering,
what that means.
all you see is the same gray walls.
We'll see
might
after
be
an
their
hour of
complexion.
floating.
Upright, the crew module uprighting system is being deployed. The 5 airbags being inflated through helium to maintain the upright configuration for the vehicle.
We're
This
not
was
getting
a
footage on that. I'm
textbook
looking
entry
around
and
like I don't know.
textbook touchdown for integrity. Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook.
Nothing wrong with
Jeremy
being a
Hansen
Navy,
back on
boys.
Earth after a journey around the moon.
Some of the other parachute systems still coming back down.
There you go, and you can see
But
those
then you can see there.
the orange inflatables up at the top. As pointed out, stable 1 means the crew is upright, but this is in case something happens or a wave hits or whatever to help keep them upright. If they landed sideways or upside down, these would have inflated and righted the capsule.
Yep. There was another view, much wider view, where you could see like all of the other chutes, like you could see like the drogue chutes and things like that. This is why I mentioned earlier that they wait a few minutes for all of those other pieces of hardware that they deploy to sort of either get already in the water or sort of, you know, make sure that they're not going to be in
come
the
on,
way
here we go.
when they go out to the crew.
We continue
and the
to
VL
monitor the functioning of the CMOV.
Hey, bias.
The airbags are being inflated to maintain a stable
Of
1
course.
upright configuration. There's a good view from one of the naval helicopters hovering overhead. Reed Wiseman reporting 4 green crew members, meaning they're all in excellent shape.
Oh,
I'm sure
glad
after
you
an
put it
hour of
that way.
floating and bobbing in the water,
Usually when
maybe they will be
you're,
able to
when
do
you're
it.
green in the water, that's not a good sign. Hell of a time to get motion sickness. Oh, it's fun until we hit the ocean.
Crew back on Earth, hopefully the first of many splashdowns from around the
Houston, for
moon
SAR beacon and
in
radio.
the years to come.
So we are
From the
expecting
moon.
divers to go and meet
Our
the
beacon
capsule as well.
is in 406, and we're powering the radio now. Go ahead.
Oh man, that hurts my back, but I have to
We
do it.
see the beacon on. However, the recovery team is not seeing the signal. Your SAR radio uses the same antenna, so you may run into trouble with the radio.
Antenna dome broke.
Okay, copy. And we are also powering up the sat phone now.
Good call.
I wonder if they'll do prank calls with that phone.
SAR, by the way, search and rescue. So that was if they were way off course to be able to find them, and additional ways to also be able to communicate with the recovery forces.
And
Yeah, we
CSAR
mentioned
is
the prank
combat
calls
search
because
and
they did
rescue.
that on Demo 2. Bombing Dog. That was hilarious.
Like the pilots that went down over on the other side of the world. CSAR hit.
Yep,
Those
so-
guys do not
those
mess around.
helicopters
We
will
bring
eventually
our
go out
boys
there
home.
and grab the crew. But right now, as you pointed out,
And girls.
there,
We
Alice,
we
will
bring
have
our
the initial
we bring
divers
our
come out
soldiers and
and
sailors
meet
home.
the crew as they wait for the vehicle and everything to be safe, and again for that crew to actually get out there and do the initial checkouts on the capsule and the crew.
our current target. Could care less about people's lives.
So far,
Women, children. Yeah.
unbelievable. I'm sorry, I'm still at a loss for words
Right,
now.
I mean
as
to-
we see them bobbing in the water.
Politics over.
It's definitely a good thing. This is everything that they hoped for.
Oh, we got
and
the
more to see this
blinky
go as
the
well
blinky
as it has.
beacons going off.
I'm sure the
And as long
crew.
as we have views, we will be staying live through the crew actually being taken out of the capsule and brought back.
Yeah, and they
Shit.
will obviously go for medical checkups. That's expected. Certainly, what every crew does when they egress.
Exactly. And with the crew safely back down We
Look
now
at the
have
detail.
brand new merch just released.
Oh,
Love
Celebrating the crew's safe return. There you go. Artemis II, splashdown, April 10th, 2026.
boy, they didn't waste any time to. Hang on.
Oh, I love that new the one on the mug and everything, and this gorgeous one. Available shop.nasaspaceflight.com now. There it is. Look at that. Oh, I love that one personally. They're both really cool. But to show the actual splashdown on the left, and again, there's the real thing on the right. They look pretty darn close. Hollow to Artemis, a new era begins. All available now. I think now we can finally say mission success.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Sorry, I was a bit late on getting that transition over.
And you see those orange inflatables at the top. That's expected.
Just
Apple
wanted to
expected
blend
stay
in with
upright, though. You could see very calm waters.
I was going to say, they just wanted to blend in with the suits that they're wearing. I feel like orange is the color.
Boy, she will not get over the orange suits. It's vermilion. Sharks like it too.
The vessels nearby is the USS John P. Murtaugh.
Integrity, Houston did not call.
We'll call him back.
Comms issues.
It might have been on the SAR radio. Stand by.
There we go.
And that search and rescue radio that they're talking about.
All of the milestones were executed in perfect fashion.
And you see them bobbing there, safely home. But yes, the USS John P. Murtaugh is nearby. We had those helicopters with some of the visuals there.
They
We'll
obviously
have the
couldn't be
dive
too
team.
close, could they? It's what, a 5-mile radius they were expected to be to the splashdown zone, so they're having to maneuver to be a little bit closer for that recovery mission.
Yep, that was 5 miles out. And yes, so the crew of those first 4 divers will be out there to go
There we
grab
are.
them. There's the boat behind it, I believe.
Looks like it, doesn't it? We're expecting those divers to arrive first to check the capsule before they open it. That crew will then come out onto those boats and then get recovered by the helicopters from the Helicopter Sea Combat Squadron 23 team.
Exactly. And the first 4 people that will be out there will be with the U.S. Navy. That's Lieutenant Commander Jesse Wang, Senior Chief Hospital Corpsman Laddie Aldridge, Chief Hospital Corpsman Vlad Link, and Hospital Corpsman First Class Steve Capula. That is the dive medical team that will be the first ones to open the Orion capsule once the crew does go out there. So they will first then do their medical assessments of the crew, help them out of the capsule, and then get them towards one of the helicopters that will be aboard to grab them up. In terms of order,
That's what it
I
looked
believe
like
it is
with
going to be Christina, who
All right,
is
Jackie, we
closest to
just
the hatch.
selected
Apollo 17, last one to hit in the water.
No joy on
Look how burnt
SAR
up that
radio.
old one was. And probably the hood
Stand
out
by.
there.
We have the master diver on SAR radio. Please hold comms.
Hey,
There we
Lily.
go.
Excuse me. Hey, Jackie. We just got the master diver on SAR.
There's a
Really
shot
being
right
the
there.
lead
And a-
recovery
Get that out of
operations.
the way.
I was going to say, and a bird just randomly flying by. Amazing.
Yep.
Great
Again,
views.
There we go.
There's one of the. Yep, the fast boats is what SpaceX calls them. It's, I guess, similar here.
That's
You
The-
are
the
happy
first
with
cruise
your
go out.
comm with Master Diver. You can go back to the 15-minute power down.
Okay, stand by. Yeah, we'll confirm here in a
Yep.
second.
The crew on board Integrity coordinating with the flight control team in Houston here in Mission Control.
Working out all of the ways to recover them and everything, and it's amazing after all this time of they're talking on tracking data relay satellites, then they're on the Deep Space Network. Now they're just back on regular old terrestrial radio.
And they're obviously doing some observations at this moment, making sure that the capsule's looking the way it's supposed to. It's a slow approach. This is all expected and part of their plan for the recovery mission.
So did everyone on Earth get their gorilla or ape costumes to surprise the crew when they came back?
You've got to wonder. I don't know how well that will go with the dive crew.
Concur. We haven't had anything come through.
Oh, no way. That dude has way too much money. I just saw Stephen Burns' video, and he's like out there in the boat. I didn't know that.
Going to be the boat coming up to the crew. As mentioned, the 4 medical team members are going to be the first ones out there. And then eventually we'll have the helicopters that will be there.
But it does not appear as though they are hearing us.
Still a few of those comms issues. Hey, look, if that's the worst that's going on right now.
Just to confirm, you are pushing the PTT on the radio.
Making sure they're pressing the push to talk.
Why are you pushing the right one? There's a lot of different ones on that console. Wouldn't be the end of the world if they didn't. Again, they're in that inspection
time. So as we continue
time.
to sort out the communications between Integrity and the recovery teams, we are standing by for the initiation of the power down procedures that, as you see, the recovery teams
leaning
are
on the key
towards the side of the capsule. The next major event will be the erection of that large inflatable raft called the front porch.
Yeah, that is the nickname for it. You can probably, if you've seen the Apollo missions with that little inflatable thing around the capsule when they get out, that's basically along those lines. If you remember it from the Apollo days, even from the Gemini days.
Sat phone, we are going to attempt to call you.
Good idea, standing by.
Yes,
Boy,
we are pushing the push to talk, the 2 buttons on the left side of the radio below the up-down arrows. We are utilizing them. I'm rebooting the radio to see if we get good comms.
Okay, we copy all, and just to confirm, you are seeing that you are touchdown plus 3030 for power, correct?
That's affirmative.
Helicopters coming into view there, as well as those rescue boats.
Yeah, it went from nobody nearby to everyone all at once.
Welcome to the parties, pal.
So they're using the satellite phone that they have instead. After all that talk about using a terrestrial radio, now they're going to sat phones.
No, not cell phones, sat phones.
Teams, letting them know about approaching, getting the hatch open. Which, a reminder, the hatch on the side of that capsule has not been opened in over 9 days. The last time that hatch was open, it was later closed by the closeout crew at Launch Complex 39B at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida.
And then they turned the little wing nuts and locked them in and said, "Bye, guys."
And now it will be opened in the Pacific Ocean after a 700,000-mile journey.
They did not escape out and
defense
take
with the communications issues.
zip
If anyone's ever
line
been out
down
at sea
from the
at
tower.
that kind of distance, it's spotty at best.
It's
not
spotty at
surprising
best.
They're having issues with the terrestrial communications services as they are. And again, if that's the worst thing that they're having to deal with right now, we'll take it.
Exactly. At least it's not Microsoft Outlook trying to sync.
An explosive toilet. There we go. It's
Please
as close as we've got
reply.
so far.
NRD, very weak, but readable. Master diver, we can hear, but they cannot hear us.
It sounds like the divers are there already.
Well, they're still trying to get in contact with them with these different modes of communication, and it sounds like right now it's still just a one-way communication. And this is all part of the test flight.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just the actual launch portion itself, it's also the recovery assets, because the last time they recovered Artemis 1, there was mannequins on board, or moonikins, as they called them, not actual human beings. And of course, this is being able to talk with them one-on-one.
The moonikins?
To get them all set up to approach the capsule. And then, of course, once they are there, the medical teams will speak with each of the individual astronauts
And Houston,
as well.
on OE1, is there any chance that ISS...
There we go. Helicopter coming in. Look out.
Checking.
I did see someone ask, why don't they just route it through Houston? Well,
They are.
sounds like that's what they're going to try.
Communication coming from here to Houston, back to
This is Mission Control,
here,
Houston.
there to
While
Houston.
we stand by
back.
for the establishment of communications between Integrity and
There's the voice I
recovery
wanted.
team that is basically standing by very close to the spacecraft, we're going to go to the deck of the USS John P. Murtha, where Megan Cruz is standing by with Administrator Jared Isaacman.
No, we're not.
Yeah.
We're not going to do that.
Oh, well. What channel's doing that?
Hey, Rob, yeah, just such an
Anyway.
honor to be able to be here on the ship, to be able to share and
No, okay.
experience this moment
That's
with
not.
everyone together. And of course, as you just said, yes, here with NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman. Administrator, how did you feel getting to witness this and seeing NASA at its best?
Oh, I mean, I'm honestly, I'm still at a loss for words. I mean, you know, like the childhood Jared right now can't believe what I just saw. I mean, almost been waiting my whole lifetime to see this, and then it's NASA Administrator. I just couldn't be more proud of the entire workforce, the years, the effort, the late nights, all the hard work from across the country that contributed to this incredible moment right now. And yeah, incredibly grateful too for our teams here on the John P. Murtha right now.
Yeah, look at the behind us here.
Got everybody. Hey, what do you guys think? We just brought some astronauts back from the moon, huh?
While he's wearing his astronaut jacket himself.
Unbelievable. Thank you. Yeah, so grateful to the Navy, the sailors that are here, the NASA teams. I mean, this is a joint effort that's on their way right now. These recovery forces are getting out to our Orion spacecraft, to Integrity, to get our astronauts back on the ship safely.
Yeah, and this is not just an accomplishment for NASA. This is an accomplishment for humanity. Again, a historic mission to the moon and back. How does this make you feel, and what do you hope people take away from this?
Well, I'll tell you, you know, I think about the crew members that we've all had an opportunity to observe over the last 10 days, right? I mean, they're absolutely professional astronauts. I mean, wonderful communicators, almost poets. But then I think these were the ambassadors from humanity to the stars that we sent out there right now. And I can't imagine a better crew than the Artemis II crew that just completed a perfect mission right now. So, yes, it's a huge moment for everybody, right? I mean, we are back in the business of sending astronauts to the moon, bringing them back safely, and to set up for a series more. I mean, this is not a once-in-a-lifetime, which you hear sometimes around here. It's like, this was a once-in-a-lifetime. No, it's not. This is just the beginning. We are going to get back into doing this with frequency, sending missions to the moon until we land on it in 2028 and start building our base.
Yeah, are we going to build on the momentum for Artemis III? I mean, it's just around the corner.
Absolutely. So
2028, baby.
Part of me too. I can't wait to get the
2028.
crew off of Integrity right now, but also getting Integrity back
Be
on
here
this
sooner
ship
than you
so we
know.
can start taking a look at it, because all that data is so precious to us right now. I mean, we are going to definitely want to take a good look at the thermal protection system. We're going to want to download all the data they couldn't transmit back to us and use that to inform Artemis 3. But we're already making progress, right? You had SRB segments already showing up at KSC. Core stage for Artemis 3 is rolling out on April 20th. We're getting Mobile Launcher 1 back in vehicle assembly building. So yes, there is a lot to celebrate right now on a mission well accomplished for Artemis 2, and at the same time, we got to start getting ready for 3.
Amazing. And last question, you know, for people who joined us for all 10 days to see what we can accomplish together with our international partners, what do you think about the fact that we're going to keep doing this more and more and more?
It's incredibly exciting. I mean, yes, it's the contributions, like the best and brightest across the NASA workforce from across the country, our industry partners, our international partners. We had a Canadian Space Agency astronaut on board in Jeremy. We had the European Service Module. And you think, in the days leading up to this launch, I mean, 48 hours prior to launching Artemis II, I was meeting with the Italian Space Agency. We signed a memorandum of understanding to build a habitation module on the moon. I mean, you have countries, all of our allies and partners coming together saying, we are committed to this effort. We are returning to the moon. We're doing it to stay. We are building that enduring presence. We are going to master the skills on the surface of the moon so someday we can undertake missions to Mars. It's just an incredibly exciting time, and we're not going at it alone. We're bringing everybody along with us.
Absolutely. And speaking of everyone, one more time, we're going to ask the crew here, you guys ready to land on the moon?
There you go. Get the sailors
Awesome.
in. Get the sailors in.
Well, thank you so much, Administrator. Appreciate you being here. We're, of course, going to stay on to watch the crew get extracted from Orion. So stay tuned, and we'll see you back here shortly.
Okay.
We have an interview with NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman, who was out on the recovery vessel there. Well traveled, both being at the launch and then in mission control for much of the mission, and now on the recovery vessel.
We say we weren't going to go to them, and then we realised it was Jared Isaacman. We had to listen to the NASA administrator and what he wanted to share with us.
Yeah.
And so now we continue to wait for the crew to be extracted. Last we heard, they were having those issues with communicating with the dive team there, and the master diver specifically.
Where'd we pack the can opener?
Using their search and rescue
Who
radio.
put it where?
Trying
Was not
to
supposed to
sat
go with
phones,
silverware.
trying to route the communications. So we will have to see when they're finally able to communicate with them so that they can actually go in there and grab the astronauts out of the capsule. Look at that view of Artemis in the water. It still doesn't feel real, but it is. It's real. That is actually a capsule that returned from around the moon in my lifetime with people on it.
That's a real pinch me moment, isn't it?
It is, and just compare it to the new merch that came out. I mean, it's identical. It's the same picture as the office beam goes. Look at that. But I mean, if you're just as hyped as we are about the mission finally coming to its conclusion, celebrating the return of Artemis II successfully, and hopefully the return of humanity's journeys to the moon again, you should check out the new merch, shop.nasaspaceflight.com. Just released. You can see we've had it on mugs, we've had it on hoodies. Gorgeous designs. The shop team did an amazing job here with this. So celebrate the return of humanity to the moon and these 4 astronauts back down to Earth at shop.nasaspaceflight.com. So, Alex, I know you've been listening in. What's the latest that we're hearing so far right now?
Yeah, so as expected, the Orion spacecraft has been powered down as part of the plan, because it's basically like within 20 minutes after splashdown, it's supposed to power down. And officially, with that power down, Johnson Space Center has handed over the responsibility of Orion to the Exploration Ground Systems. But that doesn't mean that the flight director sort of just ups and go or anything like that. He's still out there at JC on console, and he will be on console until the crew departs the capsule. But that's basically, you know, the official handover. Orion from now on, it's part of the Exploration Ground Systems, which, for people that might not be aware, those are the ones that are in charge of the transportation of the of basically putting together the rocket, for example, before launch, of the ground systems. I mean, it's part of the name, I guess, but it also involves as well the recovery and the transport back to the Kennedy Space Center for all of the post-landing inspections.
Yep, so there's still plenty to do with this capsule now. It's not like, oh, it's back, it's done. There's a lot of inspections to do. Of course, we're going to want to see how that heat shield looks after re-entry. And then
for Artemis 1, they had a sort of like a little media day when they arrived with the capsule. I hope they have something like that. We had that
Yeah.
with, I remember Jack went out there to California, to San Diego, and he was actually able to spot
And you can actually see one of the
little
divers in
sort
the
of
water there.
striations
Or
on
is that
the
no?
heat
It's
shield back when Artemis
just a
1.
reflection. I was thinking
We'll
there's like
see
a
if we get a view of that
here. You see it.
when that happens. It should happen within a few
But
days.
it's just a reflection from the capsule. Thought that'd be cool.
Yeah,
Dive
that would be amazing if we get to see the views again. And then, of course, they will continue to inspect it. It will make its way back to Florida, where the teams will look at everything on board the capsule. Of course, there are things that they will have to remove from inside Orion first. A lot of science experiments, things that are more on the time-sensitive side.
Trash.
Some of which will be thrown away, some of which will actually be analyzed post-launch, or post-landing, excuse me. So. Amazing. And again, you can see all the people there ready and waiting to hop over towards the Orion capsule and the crew of 4 on board Integrity. Amazing. 218 hours after launch, the crew now awaiting extraction, which, as pointed out, it will be the medical team that will be out there with them as part of the U.S. Navy Fleet Forces Command. So again, that will be Lieutenant Commander Jesse Wang, Senior Chief Hospital Corpsman Laddie Aldridge, Chief Hospital Corpsman Vlad Link, and Hospital Corpsman First Class Steve Capalla. They are the dive medical team that will be the first ones to open up the capsule now after splashdown. And if all goes to plan, in terms of who they will talk to, check out, and then the extraction plan will be starting off with Christina Cook, who is MS-1 closest to the hatch, then Victor Glover, who is the pilot. That will be followed by Mission Specialist 2 and Canadian Space Agency astronaut Jeremy Hansen. And then, of course, the last one to leave the ship is the captain, or in this case, Commander Reed Weissman. There'll be 2 different helicopters to return the 4 crew members to the deck of the John F. Murtaugh, which is just a couple miles away from where they are right now and closing.
It's great to see those MH-60S Seahawk helicopters as well that keep coming through on the screen. They will obviously be extracting the crew from that, what did they call it, the deck? The welcoming
the front
deck?
porch.
The front porch, there you go. When they are out of the capsule.
Yep.
Front porch. Does it come with a rocker as well? Oh, look. Supplied by the sea bed, obviously.
Yep. Again, I can imagine the moment when they're able to open up the capsule, open up the hatch, and smell the salt air for the first time after 9 days of being in very close proximity to the 4 communication, or of the words, to be within close proximity of the 4 astronauts all in that tight space.
It's been a long and a very exciting coverage so far today, Sawyer. I think we can definitely excuse you from forgetting your words. I mean, there have been points during this entire mission where we've all got to that point where we've lost our thought process and been lost for words for how incredible this entire mission has been from start to finish. They really have done a very good job of executing Artemis II, the entire mission.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's still hard to believe that the crew that we've been following for the last almost 10 days of our lives, nonstop, is back home. I'm very glad they've made it back safely, too. And you can see all of those people ready and waiting to get to that capsule and get to those 4 astronauts. After a nearly 700,000 mile journey around the moon and back. Which I should point out for those who use metric, that is just under, it's a little over 1.1 million kilometers traveled. Hopefully the crew is able to communicate with those search and rescue teams.
I was going to say, we're seeing one of them approach it a little more, certainly moving around for observations. That's a good sign.
Starting to do circles there, yeah. Hopefully, finally able to approach the capsule soon. So yeah, as we heard there, they were having initial issues communicating with the master diver that will be part of the team to grab the crew out, or at least check on them first, get them onto that front porch, and then have the helicopters come and recover them. There we go. Still doing the circling. Of course, you've got all of the aerial units circling as well. And Alex, I think we now have the official splashdown time.
Yep, official splashdown time per the flight dynamics officer was 7:07 p.m. 7:07 and 27 seconds p.m. Eastern time. That will be 0007 27 UTC. That's 9 days, 1 hour, 32 minutes and 15 seconds after launch. I actually flipped my numbers here. I have written down 23. It's 32 minutes and 15 seconds. There you go.
Yeah, that's 8:07 p.m. 27 seconds Eastern time.
Yeah.
7:07 Central.
And it's very confusing when you get all these different time zones coming out, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
Yep.
sorry. I meant exactly 7 Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. Oh my goodness,
We're
yeah.
seeing that crew
Too many
approach the
time
capsule.
zones.
And we're back.
That you'll have. Yeah,
There we go.
8:07, 27 p.m. Eastern, 0007, 27 UTC.
There we go. We see the crews finally reaching the capsule. Or at least getting near it.
I'm sure at this point they're doing readings, they're checking, observing with their eyes, making sure that the crew are ready for that opening of the capsule.
Yep, want to make sure it's safe for everybody getting out, both the recovery teams as well as the actual astronauts themselves.
It's interesting because before Artemis 1, they still hadn't sort of narrowed down to a sort of like a path to how to recover the crew. Because today, the way that they're going to be doing it, we've talked about the front porch, right? That inflatable raft on the hatch of the capsule. And they'll be airlifted by the helicopters to the ship. But the other option that they were sort of trading off is sort of the way that we see, for example, SpaceX recover Crew Dragons, which is they lift first the capsule onto the ship, right? And then they help the crew get out. And so that was one of the options that they were sort of debating. For Artemis II, they decided to do this, but I wouldn't be surprised if, for example, for longer missions, that will be the case. Apollo did a very similar thing where the lunar missions, they had the airlifting, but for Skylab missions, for example, they brought the ship first, the capsule first onto the ship, and then they will be helped out. Because it's a lot easier when you have been in microgravity for a long time, basically. And so just so you can sort of notice the sort of trade-offs here, where it's 10 days, and in the future might be a lot more time.
Now, those little rods are reaching out. I wouldn't be at all surprised if those are anti-static rods.
From the looks of it.
So you don't get zapped by
everything,
electricity.
All the air around it.
Static
any
electricity.
Remaining of the hypergolic propellants that they use on board, what do they use for Orion, Alex?
Sorry, I was paying attention to another thing. Can you repeat that, please?
What are the hypergolics that they use on Orion?
I believe it's hydrazine. It's monopropellant. So you don't need like a fuel and oxidizer. You use hydrazine. You run it through a catalytic material, and so it sort of decomposes, and that creates the reaction that you want. That's usually what is normally used in these cases.
Yeah.
And I believe that was what they were calling out earlier, well before the re-entry.
Always things making
when they were
noise
talking
in the
about
background.
the hot firing before the separation of the European service module.
Exactly. So hopefully those numbers come back, and if all is good, then we'll see them approach.
Again with those was going to say the helicopters. I love seeing them, the MH-60S Seahawk helicopters as they keep coming through. They will be extracting the crew once they are on board the floating front porch, which I'm now going to just call the deck.
Hey, it's a boat. It's got a deck, right?
Absolutely. It just seemed to make more sense for me.
Yeah. Again, seeing those crews do that. If you're used to seeing the SpaceX crew launches, they do something very similar. It just usually doesn't take as long in this case, but it's very similar in how they do it. However, at that point, they wouldn't work on opening up the hatch, so that was less of a concern. They would continue to do more of those sniffs once it was on the SpaceX recovery vessel. In this case, though, since they will be removing the crew at this point and then having them remove the crew via helicopter,
That looks so golden.
that is why
By
it's a
comparison
little bit
to
different and why they may be taking a little extra time. So yeah, it's amazing the amount of people out there to do this. And these teams have been training years and years for this exact thing of working with the capsule, getting the people out, going through this whole choreographed routine, and now to finally be able to do it in actuality. Amazing. Now at this point, it has been about 40-ish minutes or so since the crew has splashed down.
You're
And
kidding.
we continue to wait for these dive teams to approach the capsule Integrity after its journey around the moon. Amazing. Again, I saw someone say it perfectly earlier of, we waited 9 days for them to come back. We can wait the extra 30 minutes for the hatch to open.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm sure they can take that little time alone there.
Safety
on their own.
first as well. They're obviously doing lots of testing and getting themselves ready. As we mentioned before multiple times, this is all part of the entire Artemis program they are readying themselves for, not just the Artemis II mission itself. I'm sure there's a lot of things that they're having to train up for and get ready for future missions.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously this is taking a bit of time, Alex. What do they have to do before they get the crew out?
Gotta
Yeah,
find the
so
cat opener.
obviously we still need to see them do the whole thing with the inflatable raft, right? Then medics will go into the capsule and check on the crew. There'll be two of them. One of them, yeah, I have my own notes here. So one of them will go check on Reed and Jeremy, and then the other one will go check on Christina and Victor. Once they have been checked out, the crew will be then extracted onto the inflatable raft, and the order will be basically who's closest to the hatch will be first. That'll be Christina, and then it'll be Victor right above her, and then Jeremy to the left of where Christina will be, and then Reed will be the last. So the commander will abandon ship, I guess, the last. And once they are on the inflatable raft, two helicopters will be airlifting the crew. Christina and Victor will go on the first helicopter, helicopter number 1, if you will, and then Jeremy and Reed will go on helicopter number 2. They'll switch around, so it's going to be Christina, then Jeremy, then Victor, then Reed. So it's going to be sort of like a little bit of a swap there.
So a lot still to happen.
A little bit like of a swap there.
Is that you trying to do something there, Alex? Is it like a transition?
I don't know. Maybe.
Look at that.
Was trying to help you out.
Thank you. Well, Alice Carruth has been with us since the beginning here. Thank you, Alice, for joining us here. It's been awesome having you on commentary.
Always a pleasure to hang out with you guys and learn a lot about what's going on as well. And of course, I'm going to be handing over to Max Evans, who's going to be taking over for me. Hi, Max.
Good evening, everybody. What a time right? I mean, I don't.
Voice.
That's
There we
probably
go.
the lamest intro possible, but just given what we're seeing now, I don't know if there are any words that could suffice for what we have not just witnessed today, but for the past nearly 10 days now. Just watching divers now finally approaching the spacecraft. God, that reminds me so much of Apollo. And obviously better because the camera quality nowadays is so much better. But oh
Yes.
my word. I don't know if I have anything of value to add at this second, other than just look at what you're seeing now and appreciate it all. Because this has been years in the making. And as Jared was saying, this is not going to be a once in a lifetime thing, as we are aiming to do this a lot more now with Artemis 3 and going forward. So, yeah, just trying to admire, trying to drink it in, trying to breathe a sigh of relief because Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy are finally home and home safe. Integrity is in stable 1. Divers now are now approaching the spacecraft, and we're hoping to see them egress at some point soon. So, just all good news for now, and hoping it stays that way.
Yes, and as support teams approach the vehicle, I am way behind on our support. So while we wait to finally see the crew and get these divers on board and checking them out, let me go back to thanking some people here. 8 Astra Sawyer fan here, so a bit of a bias, but I want to say thank you for all your hard work covering this mission. It's been a journey to remember. It's been an honor to be a part of this team covering this. Adam T, so long, and thanks for the trout. Yes, the route trout, as we've been calling it, is officially complete. James, thank you for gifting 5 Red Team memberships. SE, are you owned by NASA or independent? We are an independent news organization here at NSF, a bunch of space fans and enthusiasts and journalists covering the space program and all different aspects of it, including other companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin and ULA, in addition to NASA missions. So we appreciate all of you joining. Colton, from all the ops running the 2410 stream, we will miss this a ton. Yes. Mark, thank you for the support. Jacob, the idea of a huge world is faulty. I think once you travel the world, stuff like this unites people and brings awareness to how tiny our planet really is. Great job, guys, and much love to my fellow viewers in chat. Amazing. Boot, thank you for becoming a Capcom member. Capcom and above gets access to the NSF Discord, where we talk about all things spaceflight. We also have food channels, gaming channels, chances to chat with us as well. So hopefully we'll see you in there. All things home, can the ISS track them and see them? We'll have to see. I know the ISS crew posted a picture of themselves in.
Oops, hang on 1 second. We got sound there.
One by one, they'll be brought out of the spacecraft onto a large inflatable raft just a short time from now. In the meantime, we can go back to the USS John P. Murtha, where my colleague Megan Cruz is standing by to provide her situation report. Megan, can you hear us?
Hey, Rob, yes, I can hear you. Thank you. Yeah, we're back here on the bow of the recovery ship where there are still plenty of people peering out into the water. We are not very far from the action everyone is seeing on their screen now. The Orion spacecraft Integrity in the ocean, surrounded by a number of recovery boats. As Rob has been saying, in those recovery boats, NASA and Navy personnel specifically trained to get the astronauts out of Orion.
Inside the cupola, the big window that they have down at Starbase at Cape Canaveral in Florida.
You can probably see that there are 6 boats out in the water. More than 40 people out in the water right now on those boats.
A lot of people. push the speed sooner. But, oh well. Those other guys are getting on my nerves when they start doing the, drifting, which is fine. I mean, hey. There's a box up there you can use too, although I don't have any shirts or mugs. Yeah.
First order of business is to set up the front porch and the stabilization collar. You might also hear it referred to as a stab collar. Basically just to make sure that Orion stays upright, doesn't sway in the water too much, again, to make it easier for recovery forces to get the astronauts out.
Do they have little balloon patterns on the balloons?
Again, we splash down to the Pacific Ocean just after 5 p.m. Pacific time here. It's a requirement by NASA to be able to get the crew out of Orion. Splashdown. So doing great on time so far. Plenty of time. No rush either. I was speaking to NASA flight surgeon Rick Schuring earlier in this broadcast, and he said to me, no rush to get the crew out. Just want to make sure that they're feeling good, and whenever they're ready to take their step out of Orion and onto that large raft, the front porch, folks will be ready. And as there are mission audio loops in mission control in Houston, there is a mission audio loop here on the ship. And it was just reported out that the side hatch is open.
It does look that way.
Side hatch of integrity
hatch is
is
open.
open. You're getting these beautiful shots from our aerial assets.
Reflection.
The ship itself, where I'm on, just 3,000 yards away. Again, plenty of people on the boat here, glued to the side closest to where they can see all this action. And again, with just 3,000 yards separating us, great views from the bow here. You can see now that side hatch is open.
Nice.
One of the Navy personnel is about to get inside there. In they go. In total, 4 will go into Orion. So it'll be a little bit of a tight squeeze, but the goal is to
trying to zoom in and get a little
recovery personnel,
little more going
with each astronaut assessing them.
Everybody's moving. Better not finish that. I'll get hit for a copyright flag or something. For educational purposes, honest.
Boats getting closer now. Again, that one that's right up against Orion, those are the divers that will go in to
What's
the
that one
spacecraft
that looks severely
to check on
overloaded?
the astronauts.
I mean, it's the
These
Navy.
other
They
boats
should know
will
what
begin
they're
doing
doing.
a number of
Ow,
things,
ow, man.
putting on that
Warn me when you do
stabilization
that.
collar onto Orion, building that front
That
porch.
Boat right above me, right? The big one, the big boat.
Eventually,
That one
they
looks
will
like there's
retrieve
way
the
too many people in it.
parachutes, as well as tow Orion back to the well deck
Probably
of the
all
recovery ship here.
photographers. Come on, see if we can get a zoom in. Okay, we got the door here.
And so as we wait for the Navy and NASA personnel to get their assessment of the crew inside of Orion. Why don't we toss it back to Rob for an update?
Yeah, thank you, Megan. Here in Mission Control, Flight Director Rick Henfling and the entry team of flight controllers still on duty. The vehicle has been powered down for some time now. There are no hazardous gases emanating from Integrity. That, of course, allowed the recovery personnel to approach the vehicle and then open the hatch to begin the initial medical assessment of the crew, as you just indicated. Now we're standing by for the erection of that inflatable raft, the front porch, alongside of the vehicle that will enable the crew to be extracted one by one onto the raft, have a moment or two to get their land legs back before they're hoisted into two hovering Navy helicopters, 2 crew members for each helicopter, for a short flight back to the deck of the USS John P. Murtha. All of Integrity's systems operated flawlessly throughout the course of the approach to the Earth, the entry into the Earth's atmosphere, and all of the key milestones that followed in this high-speed return to Earth for Integrity, a mission that spanned more than 694,000 miles from the vehicle's launch from the Kennedy Space Center atop the Space Launch System back on April 1st.
Well, they've gone.
As we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, the last time that the Apollo program saw a splashdown in the Pacific was Apollo 17 back on December 19th, 1972. So for the first time in 53 and a half years, we have reenacted that with the arrival of Integrity's astronauts as they flew around the moon in that historic lunar flyby that began with a trans-lunar injection burn that took them out of Earth orbit following 24 hours of a high Earth orbit trajectory.
Right there.
The high Earth orbit trajectory enabled flight controllers here to have a full 24 hours to evaluate the systems on Integrity and the condition of the crew before they would commit to flying to the moon.
See what I'm trying to do there? Here's the last one, Apollo 17. And here's us now. Orion. Oops. Let me get that out of there. Sorry, guys. Got divers in the water. You're still not ready. Come on, honey, we're going to be late for dinner. Each time I try to get it better. Oh, we got people. Houston, we have people.
With the side hatch of Orion having been opened to set the stage for the erection of the inflatable life raft,
Use a
known
better
as
word.
the front
Inflation.
porch, to be
Inflation of
erected
the raft,
alongside the spacecraft for the
To be,
extraction of the
a
crew.
little more
Let's
family
play
friendly.
for you an interview that my colleague Megan Cruz conducted on the USS John P. Murtha with Navy diver First Class David McMahon that explains how this process is unfolding.
Okay, Davey, so you and some of your team, one last look over of the stabilization collar, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what is this stabilization collar?
This is what's going to stabilize the capsule out there in the ocean. We don't know how good the weather or the waves will be that day, so this will help prevent any unnecessary occurrences from happening, stabilizing the capsule and the astronauts inside.
So basically, this is a float that'll go around Orion. I'm assuming that what they're doing right now, these are the lines that will attach the collar onto Orion.
That is correct.
And so what are they doing here?
So we've got the lower line that will secure the inflation device before we inflate it. That gives us the go-ahead that it's secure in space, and then we'll inflate it. And then once that is done, we'll undo all the carabiners and get this orange line on top tied in the same fashion. And then this will be secured to the capsule, and the astronauts can safely take their first steps out of the capsule onto the front porch.
They got to
Okay,
put
and
all
how
that
long will
together?
it take them to set up the stabilization
We
collar?
should definitely be able to handle this in under 10 minutes.
Okay, wow.
They haven't
And
even
then you
started
just mentioned
yet.
the front porch. So basically, after they set up the stabilization collar, then they set up what's called the front porch here.
That's correct.
Okay, and what's the front porch?
Front porch is basically a bigger waiting room for the astronauts to sit in while we wait for the helicopters to show up and grab them.
Okay, so the medical team that was inside with the crew, they're going to help them out and onto the front porch?
That is correct.
And then what happens here?
We have higher trained medical personnel also on board the front porch that will give them look-overs and just make sure they're okay while we wait for the helicopters to show up.
Okay, how does it feel? I mean, your team, you, to be part of a mission that's returning astronauts from the moon in more than 50 years?
We all feel extremely honored to be a part of this, as well as a bigger mission for the Navy and joining up with NASA to do great things.
And do you feel like
And
you
he's
and your
got
team
his,
are ready?
Hands
Yes,
on there.
yes, very ready.
Cool. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Once again, the recovery operations are continuing out in the Pacific. We shortly should see that life raft, the front porch, erected alongside the side hatch of the vehicle. A number of flight controllers
So
have
who
come
has the
into
front
the
porch?
flight control
Front
room
porch
to
come out of
receive
the capsule, or does the
congratulations
front
from
porch come out
entry
of the
flight
boat?
director Rick Henfling. But we're going to stick with our operations out in the Pacific as we await the extraction of the
Unless
4
that's
crew
the
members who are
larger boat,
reported
that
to be
was
in
the way it
excellent
was,
condition.
Overmanned, not unless unless that's why it was looked so overmanned, because that's where all the flotation devices are.
Again, while we stand by for that front porch to be erected alongside of the side hatch of the vehicle, let's go back to the USS John P. Murtha and Megan Cruz. Megan?
Hey, Rob. Pausing now to listen to some internal audio loops. Again, the operations team here on the ship communicating with everyone out on the water. It seems like currents are hindering them a little bit from unfurling and inflating the stabilization collar as well as the front porch. But again, the requirement to get the crew out within 2 hours of splashdown, plenty of time. So no concerns just yet. But as calm as the water looks, yeah, it looks like it's hindering the teams just a tad. You can see in some of our shots that side hatch still open. Again, inside, there are now 8 people inside. 4 divers, Navy divers, all with medical training, each assigned to an astronaut each. Making sure that they're comfortable, feeling good. As you've heard us say in the broadcast, you know, they expect a little bit of discomfort. Again, these astronauts just traveled back to Earth at 25,000 miles an hour, a nearly 695,000 mile journey around the moon. If you think you get carsick. Again, 6 boats out there, lots of gear with them, just in case, right? As we said, the crew reported feeling great. But again, all those folks out there in case they weren't, right? NASA is all about making sure we think about every situation that can happen. And so, of course, wanted to be ready in case any of our astronauts needed more medical attention while out there in the water. You see now teams again trying to set up the stabilization collar and front porch for the crew to get out of Orion. They need both, right? The stabilization collar will keep Orion from swaying as you see it is doing now.
Help lift.
And then they will connect to the front porch to the stabilization collar.
Bad Biker, how did
so that the crew
Artemis
take
reentry
2
compare to
steps,
Shuttle? A lot
and they will
steeper.
be in the
Shuttle
front
was very
porch.
shallow.
In a way, it almost doesn't compare because they're complete opposites from what they were to each other, not just in reentry, but also just in terms of their vehicle design. Shuttle was a lifting body space plane, whereas Integrity, or Orion just in general, is a capsule styled very much like Apollo in terms of its shape. So they really could not be any more different.
Yep.
Well,
Sherry, thank you for the support.
You're comparing the shuttle to this.
Zilla,
Shuttle
look at how
landed
flat that Earth is, ha ha ha.
at Air Force
We
Base
talked
on
about the
wheels.
crows and everything.
All right,
I
I'm
thought it
going
was
back to the other guys.
the front porch. It's actually the stabilization collar. I just saw that it's going around the spacecraft. I was like,
oh yeah.
that doesn't make sense. And then it clicked. It was like, okay, now I get it.
These
Cerise talking about when we were able to see the upper atmosphere there, officially in the low orbit altitude regime. Patrick Bob had gifted 50 Red Team memberships in there as well. Thank you, Patrick. Always a name we love seeing here. Great to see you. Wolf, I'm tearing up. My nerves are shot. Worried for the heat shield. Hey, it worked. Spoiler alert, it worked.
Spoiler alert, yeah, spoiler alert.
Peter pointing out there was the G5 plane tracking.
All right, where is it?
Recovery specialists will be hoisted down into the front porch. We'll connect to the first astronaut,
last little bits over there.
And then Helo 2 comes around, picks up Jeremy, while Helo 1 stays above head. And then Helo 1 will come back in for another astronaut, and then Helo 2 for the last astronaut, and then back to the flight deck here on the recovery ship.
Yeah, seems like we got a whole nother, probably a whole other half hour before they get these guys out and onto the
Assistant Artemis Recovery Director Paul
onto the big boat.
Sierpinski. He said helos are a much quicker, safer way to get on board. They did actually consider boats, but then if you think about it, longer time, the crew would have to move through more of the ship. This way the helos will give a more direct, quicker route to the medical bay for our 4 astronauts. Beautiful shots from our aerial and imagery teams. Clouds have dissipated for a clear view from the bow of the recovery ship here.
Looks like they're having a hard time getting the last little bits together.
You can still see divers in the water there. Encircling Orion, that is that stabilization collar we've been telling you about. As you saw in that interview just a few minutes ago, they have to first connect it to Orion, and then once it's secured onto Orion, they can inflate it, and then they'll further secure it with other harnesses and lines.
Yeah, they have to build that one. Then build the other one.
About an hour and 10 minutes since splashdown in the Pacific Ocean here.
Really? Man, sometimes time goes by too quick. But man, that was some cool footage when I'm coming back
Victor,
in.
Christina and Jeremy back home after a history-making mission to the moon and back.
And the farthest the U.S. has ever gone out into space. As in orbit-wise, we went further than Apollo 13 had a large orbit. But that's because they were trying to get their way back home. Could have been a really big orbit.
If you missed what we said just a couple of minutes ago, the undersea medical officer inside with the crew in Orion reporting all 4 crew members feeling great.
And the detail on that. That's pretty burned up now, too. I say, looking that view, it looks a lot more like the one from 1973.
Progress being made there on the stabilization collar. It looks like they are beginning to inflate it.
Yeah, they got one more link to go.
And it looks like they're starting to unfold the front porch in order to get that into the water here shortly and inflate that as well. Again, more than 40 people out in the water right now.
Jeez.
And those Navy and NASA personnel have been in the water for now about 4 hours.
Yeah, luckily it's the Pacific, where it's warm, compared to the Atlantic, which is cold, and the northern Atlantic, which is freeze your balls off in 2 seconds.
The reason why they had to get out so early is just to stage everything. And actually here on the ship, when there are flight operations happening, you can't have anything else,
okay,
right?
Cool. They did get the other one done.
Just
Okay, they were hiding it from us.
The flight deck can be a
They
dangerous
kept that out of our
place, so
view.
they just want to focus on
Sneaky little people.
planes coming and going from the ship. So
I
that's
thought
why
they still had to
wanted
completely
get the
assemble
boats in
the other
water
one. I'm like, jeez.
to make sure that they have all the time they needed for the flight ops.
Still look like they haven't got that back one hooked up yet.
And then the same crew here out in the water, they will stay out in the water for a number of hours after we recover the crew and get them back on the ship, because then they have to recover Orion. All right, that stabilization collar looking good around Orion. We're now seeing some recovery personnel getting on to that collar. Again, they need to further attach it to Orion to make sure that it can really prop up the spacecraft. It's basically lifting it up off of the water just a tad.
Just a tad.
Again, so it's not so...
What's a tad in astronomical terms? About 186,000 miles.
So it doesn't sway so much in the water there.
This is still beautiful.
And now that front porch looks like it's nearly fully inflated as well. You can see a much larger surface area. So once the crew get out of Orion, they can stretch their legs a little bit on this front porch, get some fresh air.
Wow.
And enjoy this
standing on the thing. Oh,
beautiful day here on their home planet.
Yeah, well, we got the sun going down now. Beginning to. As you can see in that shot right there. That's a concern.
Appears teams now are about to connect the front porch to the stabilization collar.
That view looks just fine, so, okay. Hard for me to guess. We're luckily up here, we're still getting some clouds and rain. Oh, there we go.
Come out of Orion.
Oh, hell. Oh no, I'm spinning. Don't crash. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I just lost the channel.
All these views you see also being fed to the Landing Force Operations Center here on the ship.
Okay, is that coming through for you
Of course,
guys?
it is very important for our recovery teams leading the mission to have all the views that you're seeing as well. Again, listening to their communication loop here on the ship. Very quiet, which is a good thing. It means things are going pretty nominally, meaning as expected.
Make myself little and hide over here.
Again, all this activity happening just 3,000 yards
Okay, well, it looks like
away
the
from the ship.
back
So that
one
means this will be a
either
very quick
didn't hook up or
flight
doesn't
back
hook up.
on the helicopters for the crew.
There's one right there.
2-3 minutes.
Either they're missing one or
then
that's
we'll
the
be
way it's
back
supposed
here
to
on the
be.
ship.
Don't know. I figured it'd be links all the way around.
Okay, saw a thumbs up from one of the personnel on the front porch. It looks like they are now getting ready to...
Yep. About to get humans. No, 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 no. No freezy.
This is Mission Control Houston. Behind me, a fairly raucous scene as hundreds of flight controllers have poured into the flight control room here. This is reminiscent of the scene after the final shuttle mission of STS-135, although that was the end of a program. This is only the beginning of a program with the textbook splashdown of Integrity and its 4 astronauts. We're standing by for the crew to be extracted from the spacecraft. Entry Flight Director Rick Henfling invited all of these flight controllers who have contributed to this mission to enter the flight control room to have an opportunity to receive well wishes and to share the mutual glow that exists in the wake of a textbook mission for Integrity. On the front screen here in Mission Control, a sign that says "Welcome Home, Integrity," taking humanity back to the moon, going further, and returning safely to Earth. So all of that jubilation, part of the post-splashdown activities, even as we await the crew being extracted from the vehicle to be hoisted onto Navy helicopters for the trip back to the USS John P. Murtha. Once again here in Mission Control, this view of the Artemis Flight Control Room, known as the White Flight Control Room. This is the old shuttle flight control room, and now is the home of Artemis missions to the moon and beyond. Once again, quite a few flight controllers were invited in by Entry Flight Director Rick Henfling to share in the jubilation following the successful splashdown of Integrity. That splashdown occurring an hour and 22 minutes ago, as we stand by for the completion of the extraction of the crew and ultimately they're hoisting onto Navy helicopters for a short flight back to the USS John P. Murtha.
Us watching them watching that.
Splashdown occurred at 7:07 and 27 seconds p.m. Central Time.
There we go.
I had an opportunity to talk to the head of flight dynamics, Jeff Birch, a moment or two ago. He said the trajectory of Integrity coming through the Earth's atmosphere was so precise, they've never seen anything line up on a ground track like today's entry by Integrity for its splashdown southwest of San Diego.
That's pretty cool, because this whole mission, they've been pretty much dead on. They haven't had to do much, course altering on their way there, and not much course altering on their way back. So, that's pretty cool that they got the engineering and the mathematics down that well, and make sure everyone's using the same units.
And the initial...
Up. Do we have people? Houston, do we have people?
Jubilation here in the flight control room. The first crew member is out of Integrity.
There we go. All right. And come up with another word besides jubilation. Exaltation? Nah, that's not right.
We are expecting the other crew members momentarily to be extracted.
Trying to see which one. There we go. Okay. Look, orangey one. Vermilion. There you go. There you can just see them up there.
We now have 2 crew members out.
Okay, yeah, there's one in the back. Okay, I got it. One in the back, and then there's one standing there. Okay. I'm a little slow. I missed him down there.
Two crew members out, 2 to go.
Flashback radio. Back to 1973. No, just kidding.
We're about 1 hour from sunset out in the Pacific. Everything continues to go well. Integrity's systems function perfectly during its entry back to Earth. And Reed Wiseman, the commander who will be last out of the vehicle, reported that all the crew members were feeling very well. Crew member number 3 now out. And now standing by for the commander, Reed Wiseman, who will be last out of his ship.
Yes, I was
bobbing in the
getting
Pacific
a picture
under
myself.
Almost ideal conditions. Integrity spanned 694,000 miles during its journey from launch to splashdown. And we now have Reed Wiseman out of the vehicle. All 4
Reed
crew
Wiseman
members
out of the
now
vehicle.
Integrity.
Nice. Damn, out of coffee again.
Once again, all 4 crew members now on the front porch. And the procedure to begin hoisting them up to these 2 Navy helicopters hovering overhead will begin shortly.
Now, do they take the front porch away from it and then go up to the helicopter, or do they do it from right there? I'm, wondering about, if they're, going to take them up by a lifeline, a harness and hoist them up. They have to lower the harness down, so hopefully, no. Loopy loops. Well. Super cool. No. Oh, that's going to be great footage.
John P. Murtha.
Okay, we got one back. Well, we got a Brit, at least 2 Brits. There's not too many Americans say gobsmacked. Oh, don't do that.
I don't know.
If there was a crew member to do that, I would place my bets on Christina Cook. But I hope they've gotten Rise, because if not, Rise might get a little bit soggy, and I'm not sure if Rise would appreciate that.
Yeah, that'd be unfortunate for sure.
Let's also not forget that inside of Rise is the SD card, which has the 5 million odd names, including my name, which, submitted to fly around the moon on Artemis II. So I wouldn't want that SD card getting corroded either. So I do hope they are taking good care of Rise, the zero-G indicator.
Yeah,
or
my name's on that
Rise
card
was
too.
Called, in the PAO event, was it yesterday or the day before? But the floating head inside of Orion.
Oh.
What have you seen, Alex?
Sorry. Apparently, Amit might be doing a little bit of an interview with NASA. So we might see them doing that, sort of like Jared was with Megan Cruz earlier on the ship, right? So Amit is at Amit Kshatriya, the deputy or associate administrator. I don't remember exactly the full name of his post. Basically, the second in command, so to speak, and the highest rank on a civil servant at NASA, basically.
You can see there are plenty of vessels around Orion there as the President of the United States says congratulations in his own way to the Artemis II crew. Of course, the crew and the President had a conversation over the Deep Space Network just after they flew around the far side of the moon on flight day 6. And it looks like a social media post here saying congratulations to the crew members there.
There we go. Looks like they have removed the front porch. Now it's not the front porch. Now it's the floating porch.
It's just a porch. I was
just
going to
a
say,
porch.
it looks like they're kind of floating away a little bit here. I hope they got all of the equipment they needed out of Orion before they detached and floated away, because they're almost, just floating by themselves off into the sunset, which, I'm sure would be poetic, but I'm not 100% sure that would be in the crew's best interest right now.
Probably
as they
not.
get ready to be as they get ready to be airlifted to the US Navy recovery ship.
This is Mission Control Houston.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Everybody's looking at the capsule, and nobody notices the crew just been that way.
in the Pacific to
We're
bring
here
home
in
our
the control center,
astronauts.
and it's
And with us
kind
now
of
is
overrun.
the
With,
three
They're going to need a bigger boat.
administrator.
folks from the Mission Control
Ahmed,
Houston, as well as engineering,
a little
and
bit of
folks
history
from
made
the
tonight,
H1B
a little bit of
here
history
part of
made
it
over
as
the
we
past
watched
few weeks.
our
Your
crew get
thoughts
extracted from the
as
vehicle,
this
and
team here basks
my thought
in the
is
glow of what they just accomplished.
always about Rob, we're here in the control center in water right now, pulling the crew out. The team here in Houston that worked so hard over the last 10 days, no sleep to get this done. We still have some work to do to get the crew to the med bay here on the ship. They all look great coming out, so hopefully that won't be too long. I think we saw the administrator on the boat too, giving his thanks to the Navy team on the Mirtha, which they're just an incredible group of sailors. I was able to visit with them a couple weeks ago, and then if you pull it all the way back to the workers and the folks that joined the rocket at Michoud, that made the heat shield tiles that held together tonight, that stacked the vehicle in Florida, that integrated the vehicle in Denver, that fired the engines in Stennis, that fired the boosters in Promontory. I mean, this is the entire team, coming together and being tested by the environment that this machine went through, and they did it right. The work was good. They did it right.
And in fact, actually,
You've said
Elon
in
Musk
a
is
number
playing
of
around
briefings,
with, rather
of course,
than having
and in other forums,
everything.
that this is just the first step. The cadence
Staggering
has to
them.
step
See if
up,
you can
as the
stagger them
administrator
and
has
produce
indicated.
the number you need.
Now, it's a little early for
while
the full
still,
report card on how Integrity
getting
did,
proper
but
heat protection.
did this mission ultimately, from your eyes' view, exceed expectations?
It absolutely did. I mean, I was waiting to talk about this until we were in the water, and I think we still have, again, work to do to bring it in and really kind of go through it bolt by bolt and see what we learned. But I mean, so far, given what we learned during the mission and given how we performed on ascent, on entry, I always think about energy in terms of the states that you worry about the most, and every time we put these machines through these incredibly energetic states, they came through. So I'm fairly confident that we made a big step tonight to get us on the path towards the surface. I think the path to the surface is open now. We do have to do all the work, and we'll make sure we talk about that as cleanly as we can. We learned a few things during the mission, but I have to tell you, this was an incredible test of an incredible machine.
From an American psyche standpoint, the Empire State Building was lit up red, white, and blue tonight. Our coverage
there we go.
was seen
That'd
on
be nice to
baseball
see.
stadiums around the major leagues. How captivating was this experience for the American people, for the world, in fact, as we return to the moon?
Well, I'm glad
you
to
know,
see
I have not been able to
somebody
watch a lot of
doing
the coverage as
because,
we've
I mean,
progressed through the mission. I will tell you,
if
just
you
you know,
didn't,
from my witness in
it's almost like
Florida
if you
before
didn't move.
launch, and then seeing
Yeah,
the
that
people's
felt funny.
faces here, and then you know, reading where I can about
It's
how things are
almost as
going.
if you
I think
didn't
this has been a gift to the
know
world.
in advance we were
From
doing
NASA.
this. You probably would
NASA's
not have
given
known
the world a gift
from news and
proving
coverage that
to-
we even did
to
anything.
folks all over the place, especially young people, and that to me
So
is what this is
I'm
really
glad
about.
that
Young
a lot of
people,
baseball
when they
fields and
see
everything are doing
what we can do when we work together, when we have teams that collaborate, that you know, it doesn't matter how hard the problems are, we can solve them.
Yeah,
I'm
all the
hopeful
young
that
people
Artemis
today,
II, as folks
weren't
witness
around
what
like
we
I
were able
was
to
for
do with this
Apollo,
incredible crew,
but
this
I mean
incredible
they
team
should
that
be
we've
glued
birthed
to
into the
this. They should
world,
be watching
scientists
this.
and
I mean,
engineers.
it should
and
be up in
artists that have
Times
been
Square on
inspired
the
by
big
this.
screen. But
And
no,
even if
it's
they
not.
don't come work in the
They're
program,
like, oh,
which
whatever.
separately they should come work in the program, because Lord knows we need the help. But even if they don't want to
The
come work in the
resolution's
program,
not good enough. I have
hopefully
better
they
on my
grow up
video
to
game.
recognize they can do amazing things when they work together and contribute to society and be good
Their
citizens and really
attention span of
change the way, you know,
goldfishes.
the challenges that are coming in the world are overcomable if we work together like this.
And one final question. You know, flying to the moon, we did it. We've done it again this past week and a half or so. But the engineering that went behind the design of this mission and the precision, the pinpoint precision of this vehicle entering that entry corridor, it's almost mind-boggling.
Yeah, it is incredible when you think about the energies involved and the uncertainties involved. That you know, when we inserted the vehicle into orbit, it was 99.2% down the middle. When we dropped the vehicle right on top of the fleet here, you know, our guys knew exactly where to go, but the guidance was perfect. You know, and it's interesting. I've got this question a lot over the last few weeks about, you know, we did this before 53 years ago, and you know that. I think, I mean, it is a reasonable thing to contemplate, like what's gone on since then. And what I'd tell you is, you know, when we did Apollo, which again, the more we learn about what they did, the more magical it seems what they were able to accomplish given the technology and the learnings that they had. But when we did Apollo, the architects of Apollo, you know, Gilbert, Seaman, von Braun, Mueller, what they really wanted to do.
They're going to bring in the harness.
As they were contemplating what it meant to expand our range of action to the lunar surface, what they wanted to do was learn how to live and work in space for a long time. They wanted to do that first before they were confident they could expand their range of action to the moon. Now, of course, the politics of the time and the mission at the time was different, and so they had to go straight to the moon and bring people home.
That guy's
and
got
after
to
that,
come
the
in
program
and watch
kind of lost its momentum.
Ground yourself.
But you know, after that, NASA kept moving along those paths, right? So we recognized during Apollo that reusability was going to be important. We spent a lot of money on those machines, and you know, we spent a lot of money on these machines here. Even though, but we recognized that reusability was important, which is why we built a winged space plane called Space Shuttle, and then we used that reusable machine to build a space station. And we learned for 25 years how to live and work in space, and have been able to develop technologies for exploration. So really, what I think is now, 53 years later, we're at the point where the architects of Apollo would have been pleased that we're now ready to actually go back to the moon and go back to stay, because we've learned all the things we needed to learn.
There's a lot of people pleased here tonight, and we really thank you for joining us. Amit Kshatriya, NASA's Associate Administrator, as we begin to hoist the crew onto the helicopters to head back to the recovery ship. Thank you very much, and congratulations, Amit.
I have to say, SpaceX's Dragon recovery makes this look a little bit easier than the airlifting. I mean, this is epic. Don't get me wrong. This is epic, epic footage right now. But this feels like something out of an action movie. They're being airlifted out of the raft right now, as we see some words.
Straight out of James Bond, right?
We see some words from Apple CEO Tim Cook on the left-hand side, congratulating the Artemis II crew. I mean, just look at this.
Well,
you've
missing
just,
some,
you know,
similar. The Green Berets,
or something like that.
Yeah,
I mean, this is straight out of Apollo 13.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. This is straight out of the movie. They've just thrashed through the atmosphere at 24,000 miles an hour, and now they're being yanked out of the sea by a helicopter and airlifted to the ship. And the second helicopter is going in now as well. We're going to have two astronauts on.
This guy's probably going, man. The ride on the helicopter was more fun.
4 astronauts across 2 helicopters.
Hanging outside the helicopter, that's heading ass towards the boat.
The pre-plan, or sort of the pre-splashdown plan, that first one should have been Christina on helicopter number 1, so to speak, and then Jeremy should be next here on, you could call, I guess, helicopter number 2. It's 2 helicopters. Once Jeremy's out, then helicopter number 1 will go out and take Victor. And while Victor is sort of getting into the helicopter, the second helicopter will go out and take Reed.
Definitely getting a little bit splashed right now from the wash of the helicopter's rotors.
Well, actually, they're right underneath the wash.
I wonder if the ride in the raft is maybe a little bit more bumpy than it was in Orion at this particular phase of the mission.
Now you're getting in. They're in the vortex underneath the helicopter, which you can see beautifully. There's that ring.
There we go. The next crew member hoisted up.
So if you're outside that
US Navy recovery helicopter,
it's a windstorm. Right underneath, it's actually like a pocket. That's what pushes the helicopter. That's what the blades are pushing against.
Fingers crossed the first helicopter will be coming back in a second to pick up the third astronaut, and then the second helicopter will loop back round and come back for the
helicopters are machines
once they
want to crash.
Oh, there we go. There's the other helicopter. Helicopter number 1.
Designed to keep them from doing
sort of put a number on these, I guess.
That was really
I hope
fast.
I hope they placed the astronauts down gently, because that speed, it almost looked like they might have just
done they get dropped up on the carrier and break a leg.
The astronauts go up.
Pop a knee.
Did you see that?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so
they go up.
The helicopter. Okay,
yeah, so that's why they rotate, because it takes a while for them to climb up on the winch there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alex. That makes much more sense than flinging the astronauts off onto the recovery ship.
Yeah. Once both are on board, then the helicopter goes out and lands on the aircraft carrier. So people were asking, like, what's going to happen to Orion in the meantime? Well, Orion is now rigged. There you go. Pronunciation, how does that work? And then it'll be sort of towed to the ship. The ship has its own sort of compartment where they flood that compartment on purpose to bring the capsule in. There we go. That should be Victor. There we go.
Wow, imagine sitting on that front porch, the wind, the water.
Yeah, now they'll climb up.
But again, the recovery team determines that a helicopter flight back to the ship here would be safer, faster, and more comfortable for our crew who just completed a 10-day mission around the moon. Third astronaut in the air.
Whoa.
Getting hoisted quickly back into the first
It didn't
helicopter
even.
now.
Jeez. I thought helicopter 1 was still heading back to the boat. And yes, in the Navy, a ship is a boat. Everything else, you have a ship.
That first
yacht.
helicopter now on its way back to the ship here. We will soon see it land in just a few minutes. Again, all this action happening just 3,000 yards away from us, so a very quick flight back to the
Still
flight
referred to
deck.
the big one as the boat.
Now the only person left on the front porch.
Which, of course,
Commander
goes against
Weisman.
everything they tell you. That's a dinghy, that's a this, that's a this, that's a that.
That
And you got these
second
big ass
helicopter now making its way
aircraft carriers. We're going back to the
back over to the front porch. Here it comes.
Okay, it's time to bring the winch down without a guy in it.
Making its final approach here.
I guess they just need him inside to make sure that they hook the harnesses up right, because he knows how to do it. They call him Hitch. Whee! Punch it!
The last astronaut, Commander Reed Weisman, now off the front porch and almost into the second helicopter. Both now on their way back to the ship where we are, the USS John P. Murtha, just west of San Diego in the Pacific Ocean.
Totally cool. Look at that baby. Oh, nice little shot. Watch this, watch this. If this is the same feed, yeah, same feed. We can have a nice little into the sunset. Ta-da!
Exciting to see our 4 crew members minutes away from landing on the flight deck here on the recovery ship. 550 people on this ship, excited, ready, anxious, looking forward to welcoming this crew aboard. Watching them now with our own eyes, close to the ship here, hearing them begin to hover on the flight deck, which is just across from us, here on the bow. First helicopter coming in.
Bouncy, bouncy, bouncy.
And wheels down. Wheels down of the first helicopter carrying 2 of our Artemis II crew. Pilot Victor Glover and mission specialist Christina Cook.
Okay, this.
Kilo 1 on deck reported on the recovery loop, but then the mission audio loops that the recovery team are using here to communicate with one another. And an announcement just made on the ship, integrity incoming. 2 more helicopters on their way to the flight deck, one carrying the crew, the other, one of our imagery helicopters. Again, kudos to our imagery and aerial teams for giving us these beautiful views of history in the making.
Yeah. Big
Set amid a gorgeous
stand by. Look at that
sunset
shot.
here.
Let me get out of the way. I still think our... Oh, come on. Stop with the spinny things. Damn it. Switch to feed B. And we got 3 birds down.
This is very Top Gun Maverick-esque right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, yes. And there you go. Both helicopters on the deck. Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen. Not quite on dry land just yet, but they are on a dry ship. And the support crews running out to support those vehicles as they park up and shut down. It looks like on the right-hand side, maybe one of them is about to... oh, no, they're closing the door. Never mind. I thought one of them was about to get out for a second.
Yeah, back inside. Back inside. Put it back in.
There you go. The helicopter on the right, that was the first...
people
Wow.
are on board of the ship.
Wow.
One of them being Jared.
Yeah. I think it makes sense why SpaceX doesn't do this, because I'm not sure they'd want to pay 550 people to be on board the ship. They don't exactly have the power of the Navy. Looks like that this is the imaging helicopter. Well, we just saw the imaging helicopter, now we're seeing from the imaging helicopter as it makes its way back to the ship. There you go, both of those helicopters back on the deck. The one on the left here, we'll watch this one come in first, but we have the imaging helicopter making its way back to the deck.
I wonder if Jared is there, like waiting for them to be able to, give them a
I wouldn't be
handshake
surprised if he was on board one of the helicopters and gave him a handshake as soon as they were hoisted up.
Yeah, that's what I would have done.
Sort of like, hi, I'm your administrator, and I'm taking you out of the capsule.
Wow, you can see all the people there very briefly, lining the walkways there, watching the crew come into land. And according to Rob in Mission Control in Houston, their destination tonight is going to be the medical bay on board the ship. So looks like that's where they're going to be staying around for tonight.
Choppers are still spinning.
I'm not 100% sure what they're waiting for. I thought they would have turned the engines off by now, but...
That's what I just said.
In the meantime, we have had a lot of support, so I'm going to try and run through some of these very quickly while we await the helicopters to be powered down. Zinnerman11, thank you for your support. We have a Roger P, thank you for your $10 super, thanking us for the coverage, and we thank you for watching. RH Blackburn, thank you for your support, it's greatly appreciated. We also have Amanda Hobson with a $20 super, thank you for your support, and I mean, once again thanking us. It's an honor and a privilege to be able to provide this coverage for you guys, because yeah, I say it on the late night Starlinks, and you know we have many more people watching us now than we do on those late night Starlinks.
Basically, the final
if you guys went
angle
on,
of attack
we'd be talking to no one, and it'd be a little bit weird.
as it enters the Earth's atmosphere. And once again, a dueling box view of some of the assets that are involved in recovery operations today. The
integrity, cabin configured, all crew suited and seated.
Houston, copies.
That confirmation from Reed Wiseman.
Orion might not be the best idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might as well just also test the landers now that you're going.
And the photographers are on the deck, and they are ready, and I believe we are getting live views of the crew. I'm trying to... my preview is too small. I can't see who that is.
I think that's
looks like
Victor.
Victor.
Yeah, Victor and Christina.
Looks like they're just maybe getting used to gravity for a moment. They, of course, have been in the zero-G environment for 9 and a bit days at this point. Maybe getting some photo opportunities as well while they have the chance.
Yeah, you can see the photographers there. I think they have red vests.
Yep.
I wonder who they are.
These people just went around the moon. Just say that to yourselves. Oh my goodness.
It's still like a pinch me moment. It's still hard to believe.
I know. Victor looks happy.
Who wouldn't be?
I mean, that's there's Christina waving at the camera. That's awesome.
Let's go.
Awesome. Oh my gosh, that is so heartwarming.
That is cool.
Not sure if they're talking with the photographers or with their crewmates who are on the other helicopter on the other side of the ship. Of course, these are NASA cameras, so we don't have any control over these, unfortunately. We're just bringing you what NASA is providing to us. But as you can see there, definitely a confirmed sighting on Victor Glover and Christina Cook inside the first helicopter.
I assume the ship is already moving, right? Because I was seeing the seas, and I was like, that's water. The water is going fast.
And that's what makes those helicopter landings even more impressive. These pilots are landing those helicopters on a moving target. Like, I struggle with helicopters in Microsoft Flight Simulator on my computer. These guys are landing real helicopters on a moving vessel at sea. I can't comprehend how they manage that.
Yeah, naval aviation is certainly not for the faint of heart. And if anyone on the Artemis II crew knows that firsthand, it's Commander Reed Wiseman. He's flown the F-14 Tomcat. He has flown
Tomcat. Love Tomcats.
The Hornet, both Super Hornet and the standard, and the standard Hornet. He's seen his fair share of time on aircraft carriers, and I think this feels like a welcome, not quite a welcome home, but very familiar territory.
There's Jared on the left.
Oh wow!
We saw the administrator walk over to the other helicopter.
That's awesome.
Which is carrying Commander Reed.
This must be extra sweet for both
he went up to
Victor.
Reed and gave him a handshake.
We heard from Rick
Reed and
earlier in
Jeremy.
the broadcast. Again, he said
That's really
be
cool.
up there on the flight deck.
This must be extra sweet, this recovery for Reed and Victor, because of course they were both in the United States Navy before becoming NASA astronauts. Maybe a little bit like, you know, quite literally coming home for those two in particular.
Anything bothering them? But again, from what I'm seeing, they look like they're in great spirits and feeling pretty good. For folks who just traveled 600.
Looks like the sun has almost set, if it hasn't already. Just off the coast of San Diego in California, just gone 7 o'clock in the evening local time.
And the crew. Oh.
Go ahead.
I was gonna remind again. You know, they're not done. They're going now for medical evaluations. They're being flown later to California, from there to Houston. Tomorrow at Houston, they're going to be doing their sort of EVA test of sorts, right? They have like a training course that they need to go through. A bunch of things in general to test that they'll be able to go through all of the activities that they will need in the future. Once you land on the moon and you have to set up the lander, you have to get out and set up your hardware outside of the lander and everything. And it's actually harder here on Earth because you have a full G to work with. On the moon,
yeah.
It's only a 6.
I have to say, I understand the rationale by doing that EVA simulation because, you know, once you land on the moon, as it looks like we're getting some crew recovery here.
There we go.
Jeremy Hansen walking away.
He's not walking in a straight line.
He was getting some assistance there, yes.
Considering they've just landed in a 1G environment, not a 6G environment, and they've just been whizzed around in a helicopter, airlifted out of a raft, and then flown to Houston, and they're like, go go to a lunar EVA for us. Like, oh, hold on, wait a minute.
Yeah.
It still makes sense though. It just seems a little bit extra harsh.
At least it was not a full 6 mission, right? In the ISS or even 9, like Christina. Christina's last flight was extended. She was supposed to do 6 months like usual, but her mission was extended to 9, and so she actually holds the record for the most time in space on a single mission by a female astronaut.
Oh, that's cool.
Looking thankful, grateful, happy to
During
be
that
home.
time on the International Space Station, she of course was one of 2 astronauts to participate in the first all-female spacewalk. The colleague of hers was Jessica Meir, who is actually also in space right now on board the International Space Station.
Yeah.
And you know, if Chris Williams managed to snap some pictures, I'm sure she would have been able to see her colleague
There's Christina.
come home as well. And yeah, that is Christina Cook waving to the crowds
Holding the door like a gentleman, but
on
There we
the
go.
recovery ship.
It was so sweet
To
the
the
other
other
day. They
crew
had
still
that
on the
call
flight
with
deck.
the station, and she talked to Jessica, and you know, talking about missing her and things like that. It was like, oh, Space Sisters.
Still on the flight deck.
Yeah.
Victor Glover and Reed Weissman.
Goodness me.
Okay,
It
let's
looks
see
like
who comes
Victor
out
will be the
next.
next
You know,
one,
by
headed to medical bay.
command chain, I would expect Victor to be
more
the
hugs.
penultimate
He's a hugger.
astronaut recovered from the ship. Yep, and here he comes, Victor Glover,
Victor looking
leaving
good
the
as
helicopter.
he walks across the flight deck. NASA administrator applauding. Victor applauding for all the folks on
I think they do have now the
ship with him.
caps. They had just a protection helmet before.
They do.
It did look
Yep.
to me like that. Yeah.
There we go.
It must be really
Clean
strange.
caps.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can kind of see how wobbly they're kind of walking around
Yeah.
because they were just in 0G for almost 10 days, and then they went through the harsh G's of reentry up to, I believe it was 6, and then they splashed down in the ocean. They were moving around, and now
finally,
they've been
just
lifted
one
via
Artemis II
helicopter
crew
onto
member
the deck of a
left on
naval
the flight
vessel,
deck.
and are now walking around
Commander Reed
on a deck
Weissman.
under 1G.
In their space-
on a deck that's moving. It's not level because, of course, you're on a ship on the ocean. So it must be really hard for them
It's
to.
worse.
From
Yeah.
the group
Yeah.
there on the flight deck, I'm sure
Like
as well.
on
as-
top of that-
you go to the beach and you float in that water and everything. It's sort of like
On the
0
level
G,
just
right?
above
And
them,
then you
packed
get
with
back
people.
to the shore, and you're like, oh my gosh, where my legs are? Like all of the strength in your legs is lost, right?
towards
So
the
now
medical
imagine
bay.
that for 10 days.
And here comes Reed.
And you're on
And
a
on top
ship
of-
and it's bobbing.
On top
Yeah.
of that, then I
He
having
looks
to
like he's-
waddle
he's
across the deck
more
in these
supporting
big,
the guy
bulky
next to him
orange
rather than him
crew
being
survival
supported.
suits as Reed Weissman
Exactly.
Oh, there we
he
go.
leaves the helicopter, commander of Artemis II.
crew members
And with that, all
back on the
4
ship.
crew members of Artemis II
Now
He's
they
holding up the
are
guy holding him.
inside
Head into medical
and heading
bay.
for the medical
You're
bay.
holding
They will
me.
be
Who's
assessed
holding you?
by
Yep.
flight surgeons from
Yes,
both
you get-
NASA
It's funny
as
because
well
if
as
they
the
time this
Space
right, they
Agency.
should get a
more
sort
in-depth
of like a
assessment
present launch, I guess, or like,
Oh,
like a gift
look
or
at
something
that. How
for them.
nice. You get a
When SpaceX is
sunset.
launching a Starlink out of
Each have their
Vandenberg,
own
like
nurse.
Pork
it's 7
choppers,
hours.
sunset.
Out of their
Sweet.
Look at that.
Wow.
Brand
Oh
new
my.
picture from
Again,
NASA
Will.
on the left-hand side. This is obviously
Check
a
to see
very
that they're
a
feeling
long
good.
telephoto lens. This
Make
is very
sure it's not
compressed.
just
There was not a
adrenaline,
sailboat right
that
next
they
to
are feeling
Orion
good
during
from their
re-entry.
long journey back
That was
from the
very
moon.
far away, but I'm sure that would have been one heck of a view
Beautiful shot
on
of
that
that
sailboat
sunset.
nonetheless, as Orion came home from the moon.
Illuminating
I love
our
the
flight deck.
forward bay cover. Just also put a palm
Just checking out in the
Yeah,
background.
Yeah. Oh, what do we have here?
Is this another picture? Oh, this
All
is
right, and now their
Sen
From
astronauts
Sen.
actually
safely on
did
board.
catch
I
the
wanna welcome
re-entry
on Artemis Recovery Director
from
Lily
the International
Villarreal.
Space Station.
Lily,
So we could have shown
I
it
don't
live.
know
My
how
preview
you
was
must
too
be
small. I'm
feeling
sorry,
right
I didn't
now.
see it in my
Ecstatic?
preview to show it live.
I'm
But there you go,
really
that is re-entry from a
ecstatic,
live
Lily. Of
camera
course, we still have to bring
on
the
board the
capsule
International Space
into the
Station
well
from our
deck of the
friends over
ship,
at
but
Sen.
this is a
That's
major
awesome.
Are they going to
milestone
show it? Do they
to
have
have
it?
the crew
here on the ship and in medbay. You know, our
cool.
team
I do-
has been
I
preparing
do hope
and
that
working
NASA
really
releases
hard,
some
and I'm
of
just
the
so proud
closer-up
of them all.
imagery of Orion soon, because of course
Everything went very
nothing
well,
beats that
just as
close-up
planned.
photography
Our
of a
teammates in
freshly
Houston,
re-entered
the
spacecraft
flight control
as it heads
team
towards
was
the ocean
just
below. So fingers crossed we do
amazing.
see
We
some
were
of
able
that
to
momentarily.
have great
Wow, what a
conversations
day,
and
huh? What a
communications
mission.
about
I mean,
everything.
10 days ago,
And I
we were
don't know
talking
what
about
else to say. I'm
the
just
launch
so
of Artemis
happy.
II. Somehow, I
It's
don't know
such a
how,
wonderful
but
feeling
somehow
to,
the NASA Kennedy
get
teams
to
managed to
this
get the big
point.
orange rocket off on the
Again,
first
we still
time
have to
with the
get the
smoothest
capsule,
countdown
but
that rocket
this is
has ever
huge for
seen.
all of us in land
Spectacular
recovery,
ascent
and I
in
couldn't
the
do this
daylight,
without my team.
spectacular
And of course,
lunar
the full
flyby,
support
spectacular
of the
solar
US
eclipse,
military.
spectacular re-entry,
There's
and
going
on
to be
top of all
lots
of that,
you
I
know,
mean,
high
just
fives when we get
what
the
an
capsule back
absolutely
in.
incredible
And I'm
mission,
so
making
happy that the
history.
crew's
And,
doing well.
you know, we hoped before this launch that this mission would, you know, capture the attention of the world, and I think it well and truly has at this point. Everybody I see on social media is talking about it, you know, and it's being shown in sports stadiums across the US. What more could you ask for?
I didn't see much.
I don't know. I mean, I think the
Launch
effect that Artemis II has had
around the
maybe
moon and then
exceeded the expectations of many, and myself included, just with just how far it's reached. It's been a beacon that probably a lot of the world has been needing to see, given how things are right now. I could not be happier just for us here in the U.S. I could not be happier for the CSA. I could not be happier for ESA. I could not be happier for Integrity's crew of 4, now finally recovered off the coast of San Diego in picture perfect conditions. Like, that was straight out of a movie. Like, you could not have staged that any better.
Yeah, you put that on a movie and you're like, no way that happens, right? Like, launch on the
Apollo
first try.
13 didn't even get it that good.
Yeah. And like the sequencing of events, right? Like, that launch on April 1st meant that they had that eclipse on the moon, right? They got to see the corona and the zodiacal light, the planets and everything. Like, you put that on a movie and they tell you that's never ever gonna happen, right? Like, there's no way everything aligns that way. No, it happened. It really happened, and it's super cool.
Got a lot of
it happened, and
cool
hey,
stuff
you know,
happening.
Ready for
plus we
Artemis
had
3,
the
that's for sure.
Meteorites,
Yeah,
micrometeorites hitting
it
the
reminds
moon,
me
but
of
the
the
astronauts
initial
couldn't see it,
audience
but
reviews
others
to the
did.
Apollo 13 movie, and they were like, this is too unrealistic. They'd never survive such a journey. And you saying that there has just reminded me of that. It's like, you know, almost all of the timings went perfectly to plan with this Artemis 2 April launch window. I mean, you couldn't have wrote this any better. I mean, it was truly incredible. Truly incredible. As we do approach the post-splashdown press conference, we will be hearing from NASA leadership in about 12 minutes from now. So very quickly, I'm going to run through some support, because we have gotten so much support today, and it is very greatly appreciated. We have Nick saying we are going to get GTA 6 before they get them out. That's funny. We have Laceris, thank you for your support, saying that one small step in the past, to the past we come, the future we seek for the glory of humankind.
I don't know. Probably not going to get an interview with the astronauts for quite some time.
Matt Camper saying that I was watching
after
the
they get
splashdown
checked
from
out
Citi
and
Field
get their
in New York,
sea
and they did
legs.
in fact show the splashdown on the
So-
Jumbotron in between innings. Beautiful moment for all of America. That must have been
Here we go. I think I'm gonna call it a day here. We had some absolutely fantastic footage. History in the making. Sweet. Beautiful. Cool. Wow. I mean, this is all just wow. Here we go. Oh! Nice shot of the choppers. Okay, guys. Be nice to each other. We saw some beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff went down. And cool. This is, humanity here. This is humanity. We're doing good things here. Beautiful. Cool. All right. Signing out. Vamos. And